Tonight's episode of the Tuesday Night Cigar Club is brought to you by Drew Estate. Come experience the rebirth of cigars at www.drewestate.com and download the free Drew Diplomat smartphone app today to discover nearby retailers, RSVP to special events, redeem points to win exclusive Drew Estate merchandise, and much, much more.
Might be a big mistake, but I'm having too much fun to wait. Flag her down when she comes back by. That one's yours and this one's mine. Bring another round. Bring another round. Bring another round. Bring another round. Bring another round.
Here's the suckers.
Good evening, brothers and sisters of the Leaf. Coming to you live once again from, well, all over the fucking place. It's the Tuesday Night Cigar Club. Tonight, your favorite crew of lovable numbnuts hang out with their old pal Charles Bronson. Their old pal Robert Bronzy, as they discuss his brand new action thriller, Escape from Death Block 13, while reviewing the kick-ass Farce Maduro cigar from Room 101, paired with some tasty knock-your-ass-out craft beers. Sounds like we're in store for one hell of a good time, you filthy low-life punks. So sit back, light them up, and enjoy this show, or else you're dead meat, punks.
Do I look happy, boys?
Yeah, it looks happy to me.
I look happy?
Yeah.
You know why?
Why wouldn't you be?
Because I am happy. I'm very, very happy. We are smack dab in the middle of football season. And my Chicago Bears finally showed their first signs of life this week. Y'all's Cowboys are doing great for the most part. A little off track, but hey, for the most part, you guys are looking great. The Fighting Aggies of Texas A&M knocked off number 1 Alabama.
Yeah, that was a good game, man.
And in the greatest sports news of all time, not this week, of all time, Aaron Rodgers, the smug, pretentious know-it-all, who it turns out actually knows jack shit about anything other than lying his scruffy hobo balls off and making a total irresponsible jackass out of himself. That's right, I said scruffy hobo balls. Deal with it. Before you put the final nail in my woke cancel culture coffin. He's finally been exposed to everyone for the condescending asswipe that he is and always has been. And I'm not just saying that as a lifelong Bears fan. Yay, sports! Hey.
Don't you mean that he exposed everyone to the condescending asshole that he's been?
I like what you did there, Tut. Seriously, I've been calling this critical thinking turd out for over a decade, and finally, now that he got caught lying about being vaccinated, others are seeing the light, and it is awesome. And real quick, I can't believe I'm having to say this, but if, like Aaron Rodgers, you're taking medical advice from a fucking podcast host such as myself, instead of, doctors, well, then turn off this show right fucking now, because our very own pretend doctor is known to say some wacky stuff, and it is always strictly for entertainment purposes. Am I right, doctor?
This is all a revelation to me, but yes, of course. Nothing I say should ever be considered
tonight's
anymore.
Tonight, no. Put the glasses back
doctor.
On. Put the glasses back on.
Finally, I feel right all of a sudden. I feel right, bud. I feel right.
Oh my God.
After 5 years or 6 years, 7 years,
I knew the last time he was at the house and he corrected my children and told them to address him as doctor. I thought he might be in too deep.
Yeah.
Listen, boys, tonight's cigar is named the Farce. And a farce is a noun that's defined as a false, derisive, and impudent imitation of something. Burlesque, caricature, mockery, parody, sham, and travesty. Aaron Rodgers is an imitation of a critical thinker. He's a total mockery of a team leader. The dude is a selfish farce, and I'm thrilled that the sham is finally up. Bear down. Fuck that dude.
Amen.
I'm gonna ride that train with you. But I do want to, man. Please tell me you chose the cigar Farce because of Aaron Rodgers, not because of the star of our movie.
Well, it does have multiple tie-ins tonight, Todd. I felt a lot better deflecting some of that. Tonight's film is a farce of an action movie. Let me put it that way.
Okay, yeah, I'll go with that.
I'm not going to put the farce title on our beloved Bronzy. But we'll get more on that later. Now that
but Aaron Rodgers, definitely farce.
Hey, we've wrapped up our sports segment. That was fun.
Sports. Dun-dun-dun.
I could be on ESPN. Look at me.
You know what really grinds my gears? Bear down.
Welcome, everyone, to the Tuesday Night Cigar Club, episode 149. And thank you, boys, for giving me that moment to get that off my chest. I have loathed this prick for so long. And every 5 minutes he comes on the TV with his stupid commercials. And I'm trying to tell people one day you'll see. And here we are. Victory's mine.
You know what? You're more
the
right
day's mine.
You're more right than you know. Even my sister has turned on him.
Oh, she was a fan.
Yes. My mother was not. My mother couldn't stand him because he apparently didn't get along with his family.
Well, if you watch The Bachelor, you know that's his brother was on there, and the minute he got any kind of fame, he kicked his parents and his brother allegedly to the curb.
My mother, who's a
allegedly
fan, the women in my family are football fans. My mother was anti-Aaron Rodgers for a long time. So was I. My sister was one of those, which I think was a lot of women, but no, she's totally turned around on him now.
Well, now that he looks like Obi-Wan Kenobi's nutsack, I don't think many women are swooning over this guy anymore.
Well, I'm sure Green Bay fans still are because I'm sorry, the dude's still a hell of a quarterback. He's
actually I have it on good faith from a very close family friend up in Green Bay.
How dare you insult Alec Guinness that way?
I'm just saying, he wears those big brown robes in the middle of the desert. You know, things get gross down there. He looks like that. He looks like that creepy old
desert at night.
He looks like that creepy old homeless guy from Home Alone. That's always terrifying the children. But I'm just saying, look, he came out with another statement. He came out all ballsy, he was so smarter than the room. Somebody said it best the other day, Aaron Rodgers is just smart enough to not know how stupid he is. But he came out with another statement. Is like, hey, anybody who felt misguided by my words, he basically is like, I'm sorry, you're an idiot. That's on me. That's on me for talking about it. It's like, you were asked if you're vaccinated. Your next sentence started with the word yeah. Well, if they'd asked me a follow-up, I would have gone into the research I did. Research this, fuckface. Banned. He's banned from the Tuesday Night Cigar Club. We're never going to have Aaron Rodgers on the show. He can beg. He can crawl. He can send the DMs.
I don't care how much his agent wants him on the show. It's not going to happen.
I'll tell you what.
Unless I get paid a huge appearance fee, then he can show up.
I'll tell you what. That little guy with the big smile on the State Farm commercials that seems buddy-buddy with Aaron Rodgers, if he doesn't start to look deep into where he stands on all this, he can get banned too from the show.
I heard that. Jake from State Farm, you're risking your career, buddy. That dude with the cheese on his head that everybody kind of likes, No, sorry, man. You're losing your TNCC connection.
I actually think Yak Boy banned Jake from State Farm a couple of years ago, and he wouldn't really get into why. He's just like, trust me, we don't want him.
Let's just talk about Aaron Rodgers and why we don't like him.
Yak Boy. Yeah, I'm sorry, Yak Boy. Didn't see you down there.
I think it's because Jake asked for a substitute on that sampler platter.
Oh, you know he did. You know he did.
Just going to keep going there, are we?
I'm with you, man. Fucking needy people can't take what's on the menu.
I heard that because the moment you give Jake from State Farm a substitution on the platter, you know Jason from TNCC is going to be asking, get those mushrooms out of there. And so you have to hold that line.
Can you believe that self-centered dickhead actually thought he was going to be the new host of Jeopardy? Really?
Does anybody watch Jeopardy anymore? I mean, without Trebek.
Yes. Gazillions of people. And he thought he was just going to
suck it, Trebek.
Without that. Although now you can do the Sean Connery stuff with Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers, little swole from last night, are you?
I'm expecting some kind of Packer joke.
Rodgers, packing the old cannon, are you?
No surprise you played for the Packers for the last decade and a half. Packed it in there good, didn't you? The day is mine.
Thank you, boys. Thank you for supporting me in this moment.
We're all in a lot of trouble.
Well, folks, our March to Halloween is officially over. We wrapped that up in our last episode. So tonight we're going to cleanse our palate of nonstop horror movies and shift gears. Drastically shift gears, you filthy punks. And we're doing a Bronzy movie. If you loyal listeners will know, we discovered Bronzy, which I'll get to when we introduce the film out later. But I'm just telling you right now, because we didn't get any Bronzy voice in this film, I might feel like I need to fill in some gaps throughout the evening because I felt like a whole part of me was left unfulfilled by this movie because they didn't use they used a Charles Bronson lookalike without a Charles Bronson voice, and I found it very odd and unsettling. But before we get into all that, what do we do here every episode, Yak Boy? We
have a hopefully delicious premium cigar.
Yes.
Paired with hopefully delicious craft beer, whilst reviewing a hopefully cinematic gem.
That's the plan. We try to make all those elements work together as beautifully as we can. So I'm going to start off by introducing tonight's cigar. It is, as I said, called the Farce Maduro, actually, by Room 101. I am typically a big fan of Room 101 cigars. It is a 6x52 Toro Mexican San Andres wrapper, Ecuadorian Sumatra binder, and get this filler, boys. This is why I'm very excited about this. Not only do you have the Mexican San Andreas wrapper, Pennsylvania and Connecticut broadleaf fillers, and some Nicaragua in the mix. That's some powerful. That's some big hitters in there. I will say price point till the last, as always. We have smoked quite a few Room 101 cigars over the years, from our beloved Namakubi way back in 2016. It was the Namakubi Ecuador, to be more specific. To last year, we double dipped. We did the Doomsayer one episode, and then we also did the Death Bucket on our last March to Halloween, 2020. And then earlier this year, we all really enjoyed the Murder Hornet limited release. That's still one of my favorite cigars so far of the year, I think I've had as far as new cigars. We've also had the pleasure of welcoming Room 101's Matt Booth on the show before, and what some have said was our most entertaining interview ever. So I am pumped to light up this motherfucker, set it on fire, and see what's what. Let's do it. That cold drop for me was pure, really rich sweetness. I almost got like a maple syrupy kind of sweetness on this thing.
Yeah, there was a hint of alfalfa / barnyard.
Rodeo stuff.
A lot of sweetness. Almost borderlining on a little chocolate, but it was very sweet cold draw. I liked it.
It was to me. I kind of got the sense of a pancake soaked with maple syrup, which is a good thing to taste. I'm getting your rodeo stuff on the smell of the wrapper with some sweetness in there too. It's got a sweet smelling wrapper as well. Especially that foot, which makes sense. You got the Connecticut and the Pennsylvania broadleaf that usually has that rich kind of dense sweetness to it. All right. Well, as I light up, is all that copacetic with what you're getting, Yak Boy?
Yes. No, I agree completely. It was very sweet. And like what Tut said, barnyard stuff. I mean, all of that was there. I had just that sweetness, that alfalfa, I had a little touch of leather, but I just lit up, so I'm interested to see where it's going to go.
Okay, I haven't smoked a lot of Room 101 hasn't done a lot of darker Maduro smokes. They've done some. I think he did do a San Andres wrapper back in the old Davidoff days, which I have a bunch of those, but it wasn't necessarily a dark. It was almost a lighter San Andres wrapper. And then one of his master collection one, I think, was San Andres too, but I can't think of I haven't smoked any broadleaf from Matt Boo. I don't think the big payback is broadleaf, the Maduro. It could be.
I don't remember, to be honest.
I'm not sure. But yeah, this will be interesting to see. Tut, first impressions after lighting up?
Oh, I'm digging it so far. You got a nice. Not only do you have that pepper going through the retrohale, there was a pepper blast across the palate, and then it transitioned very quickly into a nice leather. So that leather you were tasting on the cold draw seeks over into the initial light. I'm only a few puffs into it, but so far I'm really liking that combination.
Yeah, that medium to full strength pepper is really tingling up the nostrils. And I'm definitely getting the leather. I'm not getting your pepper on the draw, but I am getting just a really full leather. Bright leather, is that something? What'd you call it? Bright something?
I think I called it soft leather or something.
No, you called it bright earth.
Bright earth?
Well, I'm going to say this is bright leather.
Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about then.
Oh, and smoke production. Oh my God, it's just pouring off of this thing. It's like Liga-esque. Okay. Well, we'll come back to this very soon. In the meantime, the second component of what we do here is we pair these beautiful cigars with craft beers. In the old days, when we used to sit here in the corner of No Hope together, we would all drink the same beer and compare notes, and that was kind of a cool experience. But now that we're all separated and doing this remotely, we all usually drink something different than each other, and that's kind of turned into something equally, if not more cool, I think, because you get the same cigar paired with, 3 different experiences. The doctor can't smoke with us currently, so it's us other 3 guys. And some nights there's an obvious winner pairing wise, and it's like, dude, if you're smoking a cigar, you need to go get us. If not this stout, get a stout. Or the other thing, if you're smoking this cigar, stay as far away from this type of fucking beer. Run.
Just throw it away.
Run from the Pilsner. Run. So as always, our resident beer expert, Yak Boy, the proprietor and sexiest bartender at O'Brien's Irish Pub in downtown historic Temple, Texas, is here to introduce what we're drinking tonight and how we paired it, if we did pair it with tonight's movie. Let's go with Tut first.
All right. From Modern Times Brewing out of San Diego, California, the Wizard Nebula IPA.
Nice.
Hazy / New England style. 7.5.
Wizard.
The Wizard.
Nice.
And of course, 70 IBUs. Modern Times Brewing takes their name from back in the 1850s. There was a utopian community in that area around San Diego, and all of their beers are named after utopian experiments and are mythological utopias. So
sounds like some hippie shit.
It is. It totally
is. It is.
Utopian experiments? Doctor, have you ever conducted any utopian experiments?
I've conducted experiments that I hoped would lead to utopia, but they all failed.
Some actually led to some pretty decent sized destruction, if I remember correctly.
Well, dystopia, rather.
Dystopia. Dystopian mistakes, but with good intentions behind them.
Sure, as far as anyone knows.
Did you say 70 IBUs? That's
70.
70.
70.
70.
70.
Obviously, Tut, when I saw that you sent this to Yak Boy, I got the reference. We do have a character in tonight's movie called the Wizard. And so I give you props for that. How's the beer?
It's actually really good. I don't know IPAs well enough to be able to pinpoint IBUs like you do. It might be a little bit soft. It's still really, really hoppy, and I like it. It's a nice citrus flavor, and I'm kind of digging it. I'm digging it in conjunction with the cigar so far. You get that pepper across the retrohale with that leather, and then a citrus mixed in there. I think it's a pretty good little combo so far. But the beer is good. It's real cloudy. I know you don't like cloudy beers, but it's super cloudy, but tastes great.
Actually, we'll go and jump to me, Yak Boy, because I've actually got some kind of citrus and floral stuff on my IPA as well, and it's really working beautifully with that leather on the draw. It's kind of bringing out the sweetness a little bit, and man, I don't know, man. I think IPA is a good choice with this cigars. I don't know if mine's listed as a strong IPA or not.
It is listed as a strong IPA. The Stash IPA.
Stash,
Independence Brewing. Started back in 2004 in Austin, Texas. The Stash is it is, well, by their stats, it's a powerhouse. It's also 7.5%, and they listed it to 94 IBUs.
Well, first of all, let me just say this before I comment on the IBUs. The smell on the pour it's one of the best smelling IPAs I've had in a while. And I think I've had this beer before. I just drank too many of them and forgot about it. It got a gorgeous aroma, but no, 90 IBUs.
Yeah, but I mean, they do.
High, but I wouldn't
they pack it with got 6 different hops.
Oh, wow.
So it's Citra, Cascade, Centennial, Columbus, Amarillo, and Simcoe. So
I think I'm getting the florals coming off those Simcoe hops. Have we done a? You said this is what brewery?
Independence.
Independence. We did their. It's called the Dankosaurus. It's way back on episode 10.
I've had the Dankosaurus quite a bit. Well, I don't remember that episode for sure, but I have revisited the Dankosaurus. Tut's beer. We've done a Modern Times, correct? No,
we have not.
Oh, wow. Okay, I've seen them in the stores, but I guess I just figured we kind of got around to most things by now. Okay. Well, yeah, it is bringing out some really nice sweetness to join with that leather. The pepper is dialed down to full medium now. It's kind of gotten more to medium in the cigar, but man, they're playing really nicely together. To be continued. All right. Well, what's our old friend the doctor over there drinking?
The doctor is drinking a necessary evil. That's beer, not just that it's evil that's necessary.
I know nothing about this one.
Well, he is the good doctor has actually done it before. It's from the Manhattan Project Brewing Company out of Dallas, Texas. We did, I think that was episode 122 when we viewed Silent Rage.
I never heard of this one before. Well, you should, because we talked a lot about it 30 episodes ago.
Yes, it was yesterday.
To the doctor's point, he did acknowledge that he had done this beer before on the show.
However, I fully support Tut in not remembering it because I believe I've done that on numerous occasions with the beer that I actually had.
Oh, and I should mention before, well, first of all, Doctor is the Evil Genius. I'm guessing you've gone back to it. Or you forgot what you thought about it, or it's one that you enjoy and you went back to on purpose.
So actually, I thought that in this particular case, more so than any other, I thought it had a good tie-in because I thought that the lead character has to engage in some necessary evil in order to achieve his goals.
He's a man of peace. He's a man of peace who doesn't want to do the things that he's got to do.
So that was one of the reasons.
He quickly does.
I've had several of the Manhattan Project's offerings. They make a West Coast IPA called the Hoppenheimer. Because they're Manhattan Project, there's all a nuclear bomb thing to it. They have one called like the Bikini Atoll and something else.
You have done a lot of those. I haven't seen those. They haven't kind of made their way down here where I am yet.
This one, I liked the name. I did think there was a tie-in, but it is a Pilsner. It is kind of light. And for this evening, that works out best for me.
Well, there you go. And I'm assuming all you guys got why I picked the Stash IPA.
It's because of Stash.
Nobody wears a mustache like Charles Bronson and then obviously Bronzy.
I would actually. I'm risking it tonight going with a 7%er because I'm in the mood to drink, and it'll also be my first day back on campus tomorrow in like 2 weeks, a week and a half. Yeah. So this might have been a poor decision, and you might have made a wise decision, Doc.
You know what Aiden I call a mood to drink? Consciousness.
Sun came up, didn't it? Hey, well, you guys are balancing each other out. Everything's going to be just fine. Well, that leaves you, Yak Boy, our resident beer expert. What awesome elixir have you chosen for tonight's 149th episode of the Tuesday Night Cigar Club podcast? No pressure.
Shinerbach Oktoberfest.
Oh, I guess we're out of here. Everything's done. Let's talk about the movie. No, from the good people at Real Ale Brewing,
like those guys
in Blanco, Texas. Started back all the way in 1996. I did when I took upon myself the Hans Pilsner, the Hans Pils.
Hans, the good old Hans Pils.
Good Christian name.
Hans Christian Pilsner.
Hans Christian Pilsner.
Hans Pilsner.
5.3%. They say 50 IBUs, which I've seen that's really high. I think they got it wrong. I think it's supposed to be like 20 IBUs.
Yeah,
but we've done, of course, Real Ale many times. Hans Pils is one of our favorites, as well as we've done Devil's Backbone from them as well. I chose the Hans because one of the actors' name, character in the movie Bunyan, his name is Chris Hans. So,
okay, you saved it.
Okay. One of our characters' last name is Hans.
It is.
Okay.
That doesn't tie in. I don't know what does.
Bunyan likes Hans.
Well, I love the Hans Pilsner. I don't drink a lot of Pilsners, but when I do, it's one of my go-tos. I don't like the new cans.
I like those simple old cans.
I like those old bright green, neon green cans. Those were really sharp.
Yeah.
I don't like that new look to them. But okay. Well, sounds like we got, Tut and I are kind of on the same wavelength with the similar IPA so far. Doctor and the Yak Boy went for something a little more lighter and refreshing. Because here in Central Texas in the middle of November, it's still almost mid 80s today. So that tracks. Real quick before I move on, Tut, anything else with the cigar? Yak Boy, anything else with the cigar? Construction is phenomenal. It's holding an ash nice. The draw is super, super clear and smooth. It's producing a ton of copious, as Yak Boy likes to say, smoke production. That spice is toned down. Like I said, it's settled into medium territory, but it's still letting itself be known on the nose, that leather. And then there's almost like Is this coming from my beer? It's almost like an orange zest kind of.
That's beer. That's beer. Yeah.
It's almost like hops.
Well, the bad thing is that
are you guys getting hops and barley out of your cigar?
The bad thing is I'm tasting that as well, but I still know that that's from the beer.
I know.
But yeah, you're right. The whole thing just kind of it's like a quarter horse with its ass sitting down in the sand, just kind of set down for a little bit. All the flavors.
This cigar is like a horse's ass. Okay.
Hey, the new season of Yellowstone dropped. There was quarter horses on there. Those fans will know what I'm talking about.
Are you a 55-year-old woman? Because if you are,
I've never seen an episode of it.
Okay, thank you.
I like cowboy hat tut, man. Can I go get my cowboy hat?
Absolutely, bring it on.
Seems to add something to the festivities.
If all you can talk about is the season premiere of Yellowstone, you might be a 55-year-old white woman. Oh my God, my mother-in-law is just obsessed with that show, Yellowstone.
I was about to say all of my friends. I was about to say a lot of my friends are big into it, but now come to think of it, they're all women.
And we had a little get together at the house for my kid's birthday last weekend, and she made like this big announcement, like, "Y'all know that the season premiere of Yellowstone," and nobody knew what she was talking about. Like, I don't know.
My mom. She was like, so, the new season of Yellowstone's coming out. And I'm like, I haven't seen an episode. What? Oh, you need to watch that, son.
It's like for them what dickheads our age, like The Wire is to the guys. Like, oh, you haven't seen, oh, you got to watch Yellowstone. No, I don't. I don't need to watch that.
I'm going to watch it. It's like Kevin Costner. It's a modern day Western. It's kind of like the Sopranos set in Montana. That's what I've heard.
Isn't Yellowstone where Yogi Bear stole all those sandwiches?
That is true. No, that's Jellystone.
Is that what the show's about? Is Kevin Costner trying to hunt down Yogi the Bear? Because I'll watch that.
Hey, boo-boo. I'm looking for some picnic baskets.
I'll admit that I've seen a few episodes of it, and it has been entertaining.
Has it? Because I'm going to watch it, regardless of what Kate says. I'm going to watch it.
I'm not one of these people who.
Oh, now that the doctor speaks up, I've actually watched some episodes. All of a sudden, Tut flip flops. Actually, I will give it a shot. Yeah.
I'm not one of those people who's ever said like, "You got to watch this." I don't think I've ever said that about anything. But
that's TV. Nobody's watching.
We're entertaining.
I'm totally watching it now based on the doctor's advice.
I'm not judging. Anybody who gets excited about anything creative is a good thing, and I'm not judging 50.
Doc, I'm pretty sure Kate called you a 50-year-old one.
Hey.
I've called him worse.
Really? Today, within the last few hours.
All right. Well, let's keep going on the cigar, but I'm glad we're all seems happy so far with the beers. But speaking of cigars, you know who makes some damn fine cigars, Ted?
Oh, is it our friends at Drew Estate?
How'd you know? You were on fire.
Because they make damn fine cigars. They make damn fine cigars.
They do, and they're about to make someone a whole lot richer. You ready for this?
Hit it.
During its latest freestyle live show on the company's Facebook Live page, facebook.com/Drew Estate Cigar, Drew Estate announced that it will hold a Bitcoin sweepstakes with numerous incredible prizes during upcoming freestyle live events, including a grand prize of 1 full Bitcoin for a lucky fan to be announced during the February 17th, 2022 edition of Freestyle Live. Entry into the unheralded Drew Estate Bitcoin sweepstakes is simple, and it is unheralded. No company's ever given away something worth like over 50 grand before.
When the fan handed Tom Brady back his football, Tom Brady even gave him a Bitcoin. That's how crazy Drew Estate is. They're Tom Brady crazy. No. Scratch that. Tom Brady is Drew Estate crazy.
Nice correction there. Nice correction. During each of the company's 3 freestyle live events, there's one on October 15th, one tomorrow night after we record this show, November 11th, but then again in January 20th, 2022. That's the one you'll want to mark on your calendar. The company will randomly select the names of 5 people who attend the online show and comment during specific times in each broadcast as potential winners of an assortment of fantastic prizes. The 5 winners from each of these 3 shows will create the contestant pool of 15 people eligible to win the grand prize Bitcoin, which as of today is valued. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't update this. The last time I checked, it was over 60 grand. I think
it's now down to 23 grand.
I think last time I checked, it was like the other day. It was like 57. I think I saw it. It fluctuates, but you got to tune in to win, boys and ghouls. I got to update that too. It's not Halloween time anymore. I can't be calling the girls ghouls, or else I just sound like a prick. You got to tune in to win, boys and girls. So you'd be crazy not to. So go do it. Check it out. And be sure to tune in on facebook.com/Drew Estate Cigar. I'd also like to take a moment. Is that what Yellowstone's about? Are those cowboys trying to mine Bitcoins?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Getting into shootouts over Bitcoins?
Again, I've only seen a few episodes, but I don't think so.
Okay.
Oh, I heard it was a modern Western.
Yeah.
It is, but I don't think it had anything to do with Bitcoins.
Okay. Not
Like the
very
guy,
modern.
the guy's on his horse with a cloth sack with a Bitcoin symbol on it, full of Bitcoin.
The Bitcoins
forget
aren't
that.
actually
Don't forget-
a tangible thing, Cade.
I'm not saying I know a lot about cryptocurrency. Is the Crypt Keeper involved at any point in like monitoring this stuff? Is he involved in this at all?
Yeah.
I think so, yes.
What is Tud doing?
Yeah.
Is he about to rob a stagecoach full of
I'm
Bitcoin?
going after them Bitcoin, boys. I'm going after the Bitcoins.
All right, everybody, give me your phones and transfer over that cryptocurrency.
This here's a modern robbery.
You're going to have to re-enter your password. I had the caps lock on.
In
All of a
Cedar
sudden, Waylon
Park,
Jennings'
we call
voice
this
cuts
the
in.
tomato
Now, don't
shit.
that beat all?
I can't believe I'm saying this. We're actually going to get a little bit into cryptocurrency in tonight's Bronzy movie. How's that for a tie-in? I'd also like to take a moment to talk about something.
Why is it all of a sudden now all I can see is Slim Pickens? Oh, shit. Somebody go back and get a shitload of Bitcoin.
We're going to need a shitload of Bitcoins. I'd also like to take a moment to talk about something very cool, much like Bitcoins and Paramount Plus's Yellowstone series.
And Slim Pickens.
Cigar World and Slim Pickens. Cigar World is an online site for cigar smokers. There you can get cigar news, reviews, and a whole lot more. Also on the site is a cigar research panel called the Testing Lab. You can sign up to give your input on new cigars by taking surveys and actually testing cigars. Check it out at cigarworld.com/testing lab. Doctor, have you made it over there yet? You'd love it.
I have not actually.
I've actually gone a couple of times looking up research for cigars on the show, and I will go to Cigar World. They'll have blend information. They'll have some reviews. It's a really well thought out, easy to navigate site. Cigarworld.com. Well, boys, I'm going to take a quick couple puffs here before I lose my. I've been talking a lot. I don't want to lose my.
Tut's influenced me a lot tonight. I think I'm going to become a horse doctor.
You're not going to be a people doctor anymore. You're just going to turn it. You just have to like get a new license. It's like it's a paperwork thing.
No, I just put on my cowboy hat and walk out there and just show authority. Yeah.
Oh, is that easy?
True story.
You have to
Gallop
change
on
your-
out there and yep.
True story. There are horse chiropractors, and I have seen one do their work. It was amazing. He literally grabbed this thing by the legs and cracked. It was the most oddest thing I've ever seen.
I will not be doing that. I will be working strictly on an advisory basis.
Something's wrong with this
Tut
horse.
and I are at. We're just out galloping around the lower 40 with our cigars in our mouths.
Just living the dream, man, out in God's country.
You bet.
Something's wrong with this horse. Go get another horse doctor. Thank you, horse doctor.
I think you need another horse.
Sounds like sense to me.
The horse just has a cold. Put it down. Put it down.
It's the only humane thing to do.
So we're in agreement.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know much about horses. My wife, as a native Texan, grew up around horses, showed horses as a youngster. Her family, her grandpa raised horses. He was an actual cowboy. He didn't pretend. He actually wore that hat every day. He was a cool guy. I'm not calling you out, Todd. Just
No. That's I got it.
We've seen those guys around. They were the real cowboys.
Interesting thing, y'all actually y'all met him at my wedding, but my high school friend Scooter, he showed quarter horses. Their family raised quarter horses. He was actually a cutting horse and team roping champion for the junior QHA. So he was all heavy into it. So we used to spend all the time going out to actually rodeos and do that. I work the calf shoots, and that's the reason why I hate cows today. I think they're the most disgusting critters on the face of the earth, and they're dumb, and they poo all over the place.
They cook up real nice, though.
They do cook up mighty nice.
They cook up real nice. Interesting. The golfer.
Mm-hmm.
Golfs and rides horses around barrels and rope stuff.
Now, he doesn't ride them around barrels. That's what his sister does.
Oh, I was about to call him a Renaissance man, but I'm not going to say that now. Does Scooter watch Yellowstone?
I don't know. His sister probably does, and his sister still shows. Scooter hasn't shown in a while, but his sister is still active in the rodeo circuit.
I'm guessing Scooter watches Yellowstone. Just my 10 cents. You guys want to put some money? You guys want to put some money? You want to put some money down on it?
I'll ask him. You
want to put some money down on it? I got $5. Scooter watches Yellowstone.
I love how Katie's never seen an episode of Yellowstone. That's become his thing tonight, by which he's going to judge people.
I'm not judging.
I just don't know if I want to take that bet.
I'm not judging anybody for watching anything. I was telling the boys before the show, Yaks, I just started watching for the first time the original Twin Peaks. I'd never seen it. As a huge David Lynch fan, these two hadn't seen it either. I'd never watched it. And I was reading an article about David Lynch stuff, and it got me. I used to be so into him as a younger guy who appreciated that kind of esoteric weirdness a lot more than old lazy guy I am now, who just wants to watch Bronzy movies. And although I think David Lynch could do a lot with Bronzy, given the right circumstances.
I think we could do a lot with Bronzy.
But my God, I should be judged for not watching Twin Peaks early. It's some of the best TV I've ever seen. So I don't judge anybody for anything they enjoy, with the exception of Kid Rock.
Notice how Kate said, I don't judge anyone, but I've just started watching Twin Peaks. I'm so cool.
I started watching, hey,
it's cool, Yellowstone, whatever. I've started watching Twin Peaks because that's the thing to do. But you guys are okay.
Look, any class that Twin Peaks had went down the toilet when those bikers did what they did at that fucking restaurant.
The Waco restaurant.
Yeah. When you mention Twin Peaks now, people just think of a lot of dead
bikers and shootouts.
Yeah. So
I think of the stupid civilians that were there that were like, I didn't know it was a biker shootout. I'm like, come on, they're all wearing fucking 1% patches. You know what that means?
Was in the parking lot.
Hey,
come on! The fucking Banditos were on the History Channel Outlaw Biker program.
I was just there for the wings. All right.
They did make a good flat iron steak.
All right, see, we're finding the good in everything tonight. That's what we do at our core. We find the good in everything. And I'm hoping with your boys' help, we can find some good in tonight's movie. Man, we had a lot of fun with Bronzy's initial cinematic debut, Death Kiss, a while back. So when I saw his latest straight to video entry. Finally, I've been waiting for this movie for like a year and a half. I guess COVID kind of caused some delays, but it when I saw it finally come up, I was like, all right, we're doing this. It's going to be the perfect palate cleanser to get us out of the horror movies. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Escape from Death Block 13. 2021. This came out last week.
Yeah. And I've been waiting for this one.
Dude, he's literally been promoting it for like
not
2
as
years.
Not as much as The Gardener, but I've been waiting for this one.
I know. He's this other movie that we've been waiting on that stars Bronzy, The Gardener. It's not hitting video on demand for rental till the last week of December. So I don't know if we're going to be able to squeak that in before the end of the year, but I'm never going to give up on Bronzy, and I hope you guys aren't either.
No, I will not. In fact, I was very curious as to what opinions everybody would bring today because he does not have the dubbed voice.
I'm very curious to hear that as well, Todd. Man, this cigar has not changed one bit. Leather,
no, it hasn't.
Leather, and a nice. The beer's bringing out some really nice floral and sweetness component on that draw. Nice pepper. It's a good smoke cigar, but smoking like a broadleaf, a typical kind of sweet, leathery broadleaf, medium to full strength cigar. That's okay. Room 101 doesn't really have a smoke like this in their profile, so I'm liking it.
No, and it's a little bit lighter than the broadleaf Nicaraguan Bad Boys. It still has a lot of that characteristics, but it's not as heavy as those.
It's not a Saka
heroes.
broadleaf. It's not a Saka.
Right. And I'm kind of digging it, and I'm really digging the IPA combo with this cigar. I think that sweetness from the citrus amplifies the sweetness from the cigar, and they're playing simpatico. I mean, their flavors are melding just nice.
I am with you, Todd. This is one of my favorite pairings I've done in a while, so I'm right with you. Well, let me introduce the movie here a little bit. Escape from Death Block 13 was written and directed by a man named Gary Jones, whom the Doctor might be familiar with some of his previous directorial efforts for the Sci-Fi Channel, such as 2005's Jolly Roger Massacre at Cutter's Cove.
Yeah, I think I've seen that one.
I thought you did. I think I did too.
Packing the cannons again, Roger Rogers.
And 2013's Axe Giant, The Wrath of Paul Bunyan.
That one I don't recall.
I do remember that. I actually watched that one.
Okay.
That was pretty fucked up, obviously.
I kind of want to see that.
I wasn't exactly drinking chamomile the night I watched Jolly Roger.
And Axe Giant, The Wrath of Paul Bunyan. Tonight's character in tonight's film that Yak Boy based his beer on is the character of Bunyan, played Paul Bunyan in that movie.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Now I have to see this movie.
Here we go down the Gary Jones rabbit hole. He was also the visual effects supervisor on 2019's The Secret Lives of Cheerleaders. Yaks, I know you're a big fan of that one. And y'all know we love us some wrong Lifetime Channel movies here in the corner of No Hope. Well, Gary did the visual effects for 8 wrong movies, starting with 2016's The Wrong Child and The Wrong House. Then 2017's The Wrong Student. Todd, I think that you might have some kind of claim on that one. You might want to file a lawsuit.
Actually, I got a cease and desist from their lawyers. They wanted me to stop referring to myself as that.
As The Wrong Student. Then there was The Wrong Neighbor, also in 2017, The Wrong Crush, and The Wrong Man. Then he got wet in 2018 with The Wrong Cruise, followed finally by The Wrong Friend.
I love this dude.
I really wish for tonight's film he hadn't written the wrong screenplay and cast wrong actors. But I guess we can't have everything in life, damn it. It's worth mentioning also that Gary Jones also did visual effects for the first and far more superior film, Robert Bronzy's Death Kiss, that we featured on episode 91. So I'm assuming, much like all of us, that working on that movie, he fell head over heels in love with the majestic natural wonder that is Robert Bronzy. and made it his life's mission to work with this guy. I certainly get that. I think we all get that.
Yes.
And I might have a lawsuit for that movie, The Wrong House. How many nights have I tried to get in the wrong fucking house at 3 a.m.?
I think that's the wrong neighbor.
No, I think my neighbors would call me the wrong neighbor.
Exactly.
Boy, these all tie together just so well.
I just want to know how do we get friends with Gary Jones and get us some Bronzy access.
I think my mom might have some beef with that film, The Wrong Child. Yeah. Anyway, it's a lot to dig into. I don't know if Gary Jones will want to talk to us after tonight's show. We'll see.
Gary, man, hook us up, and we will put you into the pantheon of Hollywood elite. They will sing songs. The bards will line up to tell tales of you in Valhalla if you just reach out to us.
What if we told him we were the wrong podcast? Work with what he knows.
Look, Gary, I'm sorry I sent you that wrong direct message on Instagram, drunk at 4 a.m., threatening you. So now I'm going to issue the wrong apology. Call me back or else.
Dude, don't be pissing this guy off. Of all the people that we need to get in good with, this is the guy. He's got access to both the Wrong franchise and Bronzy.
Yeah, this guy is the epicenter of everything we love.
He's living the dream.
And he could help me get my...
I think you and I did get to work on a screenplay for The Wrong Podcaster.
He could help me get my movie made, The Wrong Quarterback. The Aaron Rodgers story.
The Wrong press agent.
Oh, Tut, I'm a critical thinker. I don't need a press agent.
The Wrong reasoning.
Well, let's get into this movie a little bit, shall we? We start things off in a motel room with Bronzy. Or should I say, well, first of all, we've been talking about this. If you missed episode 91 and you're like, who the fuck is Bronzy and these guys are talking about? What happened was several years ago, some film producers stumbled across this guy. Ironically, this ties into our horse conversation. He was like a horse trainer or a cowboy in Hungary who just happened to look exactly like Charles Bronson in his mid to late 50s. Like the mustache, the hair, like they stumbled across the guy who was the doppelganger for Charles Bronson, now deceased. So they brought him to America and they made this movie, Death Kiss, with him basically playing Charles Bronson in Death Wish, but they called it Death Kiss. And they dubbed a Charles Bronson voice over his voice. And it was the most awesome, unique thing ever because it was this experiment where it wasn't like in the Star Wars movies where we bring back through CGI a character, we get to experience Princess Leia again through the magic of technology. No, this is actually a dude who looks just like Charles Bronson, and he's kind of cool with just playing that part and doing what he's told. And then they dubbed his voice, and it was like we could get like 2 more decades of Charles Bronson movies with this guy. And it was just such a unique concept that actually worked as an entertaining movie. They cast a really good bad guy with Richard Tyson of Kindergarten Cop and 3 O'Clock High fame. They had some good Rene Perez, the director, who, by the way, loved our episode on Death Kiss enough to say if he ever did another Bronzy film, he would certainly look us up for dubbing the voice because he got such a kick out of our Bronson voice during the show. He was like, I'll call you guys. Like he was a really big fan of what we did. So that's who Bronzy is. He's a Hungarian horse trainer who got sucked in, I'm not going to say by Hollywood, but by filmmakers to bring the spirit of Charles Bronson back. And it sure worked in Death Kiss. We're going to find out tonight if it works in Escape from Death Block 13. So we start things in the motel room with Bronzy, or should I say with Mick Kovacs, which is his character's name in this film. But I think if it's okay with you guys, I'm just gonna call him Bronzy all night. Is that cool?
Oh, that's perfect.
Okay.
Isn't Kovacs
Let's say
the actual
Bronzy.
name?
What's that?
Isn't that the actual guy's name? I mean, he changed it to Bronzy.
Correct.
But wasn't his name before Kovacs?
Oh, was it?
I'll have to look that up. I think
he
it
did
was.
He did change his name to Bronzy.
You mean his real name wasn't Robert Bronzy?
You
I'm gonna look that up.
You might want to do some quick fact checking, Ted. If that's true, good call. His character's name is Mick Kovacs, but I'm just going to call him Bronzy because that's what he is. Well, Bronzy is sitting motionless in a chair in his motel room, and when the director calls out "action," he opens up a large manila envelope that he's been holding in his lap. Dude, it was so weird. He was just sitting there motionless. And all of a sudden, you couldn't hear the director say action, but you could tell that's what happened. He's like, all right, I'll open this now.
I'm opening your letter.
We watch as Bronzy looks at a photograph of a younger Bronzy and his brother, who looks just like Clint Eastwood. No, I'm just kidding. How cool would that be if he had a brother that looked just like Lee Marvin?
Oh, that'd be awesome.
He then packs up his duffel bag. Lee Marvey. He then packs up his duffel bag, adjusts his clothes in the mirror, makes sure his mustache looks good, and he heads out. I got to get what's coming to me. Were you right, Ty?
I haven't found it yet, but I just saw the poster for the gardener, and oh my god, that's epic.
Yeah, he plays dirty. I think that's the tagline.
Oh, I'm sorry. Continue.
Well, I'm saddened to report that unlike in Death Kiss, Bronzy's voice is not dubbed tonight in tonight's film. So we actually hear him speak with a thick Hungarian accent. And in my expert opinion, that's a huge mistake. Huge. If you're hiring a guy because he looks just like Charles Bronson, then you should make sure he sounds like Bronson too. Because a dude who looks like Charles Bronson but sounds like a James Bond villain is just too weird and too disorienting to get behind. Did y'all agree with me, or were you okay with his thick Hungarian accent?
Oh no! As soon as he started talking, I stopped. I was like, "Wait, what?"
No, he should be dubbed in everything.
Oh yes.
I couldn't remember if like, because it had been so long ago, I didn't know if the actor Robert Bronzy just did a little impersonation of a Bronson voice or if it had been dubbed. But no, it sounded like Bela Lugosi. I mean,
his
here for my brother.
He did. But yeah, it's close. I think Romania is like right next to Hungary, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same region. So yeah, I was disappointed. I was thinking he was gonna, and then I was like, wait a minute, I couldn't remember. I watched Death Kiss. Cade and I were talking about it. I wasn't on that show, but I watched it afterwards. Like, I was like, wait a minute, I was like, is this his real voice? What happened?
That's his real voice? Yeah.
The
I guess I'm gonna take an alternate stance. I would have preferred the dubbed Bronson voice because I think that if you could pair that right, that is cinema gold.
They did in Death Kiss. It can work.
But there's part of no. Actually, I thought y'all's Bronson voice was way better than Death Kiss.
So did director Rene Perez of Death Kiss. He said we nailed it.
I didn't mind his actual voice. I mean, that's his actual voice.
I'm just like, look, the guy's not an actor. You're casting him because he looks like Bronson. There's nobody wanting to hear him talk in his real voice. We want the whole enchilada. It's like casting Arnold in the 80s, but we don't want to show off his muscles. No, we want the whole package. We want Arnold with Bronson. We want the face and the voice.
I understand that, and I'm not trying to diminish y'all's point of view on that. I didn't mind it.
I think to people who haven't seen a movie with this guy yet, there's really nothing we can say until you see it, because Kate explained it to me, and you're like, oh, a guy looks just like Charles Bronson. Like, yeah, okay. It is so uncanny. It is just so it literally blows your mind the way this guy's face and hair and mustache look like the Death Wish era 70s 80s Charles Bronson. It is an uncanny resemblance. When you see it, you almost can't believe it. So it really just defies nothing we say is going to matter until you see one of these and see it. So yeah, it had to have that was part of what made Bronson so great, was that simplistic aspect of it. Just think of the lines that you would have had here this evening. I don't want trouble. I just want my brother's.
I don't want trouble.
Well, I wanted to get that out of the way because throughout this film, I'm going to say some things that Bronson or Bronzy should have been able to say in the Bronson voice, or Bronson would have said if he was in this film. But I just want to make it clear, he does not actually say anything in the Bronson voice. He doesn't say much of anything in this movie. And when he does, it's not memorable.
And I do want to clarify that even though I don't mind the actor using his actual voice, it's going to be so much more entertaining listening to you guys in the Bronzy voice, because it does make it better. I do want to say that the actor's name is Robert Bronzy Kovacs. It's Robert Kovacs.
They actually did a throwback to his original name. Good job. Look at Tut. He never does any kind of background stuff on here.
Well, I remember I was so in love with this dude from Death Kiss, and that was before. That was like right when they changed his name, because he had like 2 IMDb listings. I think it was like Robert Kovacs and then Robert Bronzy.
Well, once he realized that this might go somewhere, he's like, "What the fuck?"
I think that's kind of what it was.
I'm going down to
there was an interview. This dude was actually just a horse trainer, and they found him, and they were like, "Hey, we want to put you in movies." And he's like, "Okay, yeah, sure, whatever." And then all of a sudden, the director comes back and was like, "They love you, kid. We got to make more of these." All right, I'll be Robert Bronzy.
Do it. All right. So now that that's out of the way, when you hear me to say some things in the Bronson voice, that is not what he's saying on screen. I will specifically say this is what the actual guy says on screen, but nothing he says on screen is memorable or more than 2 syllables. So this might be one of those cases where the podcast is actually more entertaining than the movie, because we're filling in what's missing from the movie, the Bronzy voice.
I thought that was always the case.
Pretty much always is the case.
Doctor, that was a test and you just passed, my friend.
I need another Pilsner.
He needs another beer. Put him on ice.
No, you did. Anywho, tough guy Bronzy then leaves the motel and gets in his 2019 compact Nissan Altima and drives it to a nearby hardware store where he buys a ball-peen hammer. I know it's a rental car he's visiting, so it makes sense, but it's so weird seeing him drive this little economy Nissan around.
He's a man just like you and I. He buys hardware at the hardware store.
Gas is expensive, tough guy.
It gets 42 a mile. Beat that, punk. It just, dude, in Death Kiss, he had that muscle car, and here he's driving around a little Nissan Altima.
It's called range. I'm developing it.
Popular Mechanics said it had some of the best safety standards available in its class.
Consumer Reports. Ever heard of it?
All right. It's just he's driving. So we see him driving around this little wiener car for a while. And then Bronzy, after he buys this ball-peen hammer at the hardware store, he shuffles over to the Renda Rubber Products recycling factory, where he has his score to settle. Again, I just want to specify, he doesn't say these things, I'm saying them. You see, Bronzy's brother, Laszlo Kovacs, worked at the factory, and when he died in a job site accident, his family back home in Hungary was entitled to $12,750 in death benefits that they never received. And now I'm here to receive them, punk. The only thing is, the shady Mr. Renda and his team of goons isn't in the mood to pay Bronzy anything. I just want the I'm not even gonna try talking that Hungarian accent, but he's just like, I just want the money and then I'll be gone.
I just want the money. By the way, the mafia dude, I watched this guy for years on NYPD Blue, I believe.
Nicholas Turturro, they got for one day to play the role of Mr. Renda, the evil bad guy.
Oh, really? It was one day?
Well, he wears the same clothes in 3 different scenes that spans over months. So I'm assuming he showed up in that one suit and they just put him to work.
I just thought he was like Steve Jobs. He had the uniform and that's what he wore daily.
I think he was just like Steve Jobs. That's a character choice. You know what? I think I should be like Steve Jobs and wear the same shit every day. Or where's the wardrobe department? We've got donuts. Okay, I'll just wear this shit.
Well, that was Turturro showed up at noon and his plane left town at 8:00 that night. That's how that worked.
Well, in fact,
pretty much, he's not in it long.
Slimy factory boss Nicholas Turturro, Mr. Renda, tosses a shiny quarter at our hero. That's all he's getting from him, and then he has his men attempt to beat the shit out of Bronzy. Easier said than done. Well, once Bronzy's lip is busted, he gets nice and pissed off, and he starts pounding the 3 bad guys into dust. But one of them accidentally shoots another of the bad guys during the chaos, and you guessed it, they're going to pin all of this on Bronzy, say that he shot the guy. Man, the dialogue is so bad and amateurish. The way it's delivered by everybody is beyond terrible. Am I the only one here that was pissed off watching this thing? Because Bronzy deserves to be utilized so much better than what we got here. You got background actors constantly staring directly at the camera. Nobody's believable as the characters they're supposed to be portraying. And technically, the whole movie's audio sounds like it was recorded in a giant soup can. This is not good filmmaking on any level.
Well, first of all, I think this is low budget, but not low budget American. This is low budget Hungarian. I think this was shot overseas with Hungarian.
This was shot in Ohio. This was shot in Ohio.
This was not. There's
yes,
no way.
Was. Yes, it was.
Are you fucking kidding me?
This was shot in Ohio, dude. Which it has some similarities to an Eastern goulash.
That makes no sense because like there's Hungarian / Russian or whatever kind of writing in the stained glass. There's like ammo crates later on that have like Russian writing on it.
There may have been, because God knows this movie does a lot of green screen and digital backdrops. They could have shot some of this back over in Eastern Europe. I don't know.
Well, see, I thought that like the film takes place in America.
Yeah, no.
But with all that Russian language, I was thinking that it was like shot over in Hungary. And,
I'm gonna get to the main location here in a minute, and it'll kind of make some things clear. But so anywho, I'm gonna say that a lot tonight. So anywho, Bronzy is arrested for attempted murder as nobody.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I wanted to say one thing because this scene kind of like really put the pin in the flag. You're dealing with not the budget of Death Kiss and not the passion product of Death Kiss. There's not a fight coordinator. The fight scenes were way better in Death Kiss. The stunt coordinators were way better in Death Kiss. With Bronzy, you actually had somebody working with Bronzy on Death Kiss that made him look like he could throw a punch. Here, he's like George Foreman coming back way.
Tut, I don't know the answer to this, but I'm going to disagree with you. I bet this movie had a little bigger budget than Death Kiss. I think Death Kiss just had a really talented.
Then what did they do with that money?
I think that Death Kiss had a better director. Sorry, Gary Jones, who knew how to film cheaply impressive stuff. Because I've seen a couple of other of his movies. Doctor, you did one review for the website Cry Havoc, the slasher movie in the woods with the girls. The guy that director Rene Perez consistently makes very low budget films here in North America.
Yeah, he does quality work
that exceed their budgets. I felt like this one probably had more of a budget, but did less with it. That's my take.
Okay.
I don't know that to be true. So, but it is a lot of the same producing team that did Death Kiss. So take that for what you will.
Man,
so like I said, Bronzy's arrested for attempted murder. They pinned the shooting on him. And nobody's buying his story that he was the victim of the assault, not the other way around. Especially because he brought that fucking ball-peen hammer with him to that meeting. And he took it with him to the recycling factory. But as he explains to Detective Borelli and Agent Langley during his interrogation at police headquarters, his family name is Kovacs, which translates to blacksmith. So he was bringing the hammer back to his brother's family as the world's shittiest souvenir.
It's a souvenir.
It's a souvenir.
It's a symbol. It's a symbol, dude. It's a symbol of his family. Cut him some slack.
My brother died, but the hammer, like my family, lives forever. Did y'all recognize the mysterious Agent Langley, who's so mysterious he can't say what government agency he works for?
No, but I like this dude.
He is Lawrence Hilton Jacobs, who became famous for playing Freddie Boom Boom Washington on Welcome Back, Kotter in the 70s. He was
It's good to see him getting work, man.
He was Vinny Bart. No, dude, this guy works steady.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. No, he's got a long filmography, but yeah, he started out as Vinny Barbarino, John Travolta's buddy in Welcome Back, Kotter. And get
So I have a
this.
confession to make now.
Real
I
quick.
haven't seen Death Kiss. Cry Havoc's the only Bronzy movie I saw.
So
I
you
didn't realize
actually,
Richard Tyson. I said Richard Tyson because he's in both.
he is in both of those. You're right.
I never saw Death Kiss.
Oh, you need
Oh,
to
it
watch
is-
Death Kiss, my friend.
You got to watch you some Death Kiss, Bell.
Okay.
But you're
Cry Havoc is.
I never, Kate, I never tell anybody they got to watch. You got to watch some Death Kiss.
you got to watch Death Kiss. It is the Yellowstone for mid-40-year-old alcoholics. If you're in your mid-40s and a white guy and like to drink alone, you will love Death Kiss.
Let's not get too much into my personal life.
Dude, you would enjoy Death Kiss. I think you would.
Early 40s. Early 40s.
It's got the Bronzy impersonation. It's fun.
But get this. Well, Doctor, I had actually forgot you did Cry Havoc until I just mentioned it. That was your first introduction. That's
So
right.
did I. That's what I was just looking up.
And he didn't say a lot in that one either.
You're like, Doc, you did a review on that Cry Havoc. I'm like, what's he talking about?
Well, get this, though. Boom Boom Washington, that plays Agent Langley, he also played Mugger in the Park #2 in the original 1974 Death Wish. So he might be the only actor who's ever acted against Bronson and Bronzy. That's awesome. That's something to tell your grandkids.
I wonder if they hired him specifically because of that.
He couldn't tell the people all. Maybe we should do a little bit more with Bronzy, like
I
not
would
have him speak.
I would love if I was more what's the word, driven. I would love to have tried to go back in time and get Boom Boom Washington on the show and be like, what was it like? You worked with Bronson and then you're working with this guy who looks just like a reincarnated Bronson. That would have been a great question to ask that guy if I had any kind of gumption to do something cool with the show, which I didn't do. And I should say,
there's always time for the gardener. We can bring him back.
I'm gonna get better. We're only 149 episodes in. I'm still learning. I'm still trying to get my feet under me and what's going on. I will say this: he's actually the best actor in this thing by far, which I realize isn't saying much, but he's pretty good in this.
I like him. He was fun.
Well, it turns out that the judge assigned to Bronzy's case is married to the evil Mr. Renda's sister-in-law. How's that a thing that happens? So our boy is up shit creek with a turd for a paddle, unless
it can happen. It's called a conflict of interest.
That's some good old backwoods justice right there.
That's what Boom Boom says. And unless Bronzy wants to help the fuzz and work undercover as an informant in Pleasant Hill Penitentiary where he's going, and make no mistake, there's nothing pleasant about Pleasant Hill. They want him to help figure out who's behind a drug smuggling ring that's going on around there. And they want his help, but he's not really sure if he wants to help. Does all that make sense, kind of?
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Sure.
Okay. It's all very vague and stupid, and it never really gets thought out more than that. But so I'm just going to leave it. If the film's not going to give that more weight, then I'm not going to give it more weight. we really never find out what the hell that drug thing was going on with the rubber and the.
And the funny thing is, I don't care.
I didn't care about that either. I did not. I didn't waste any time on that one. So Bronzy is shuttled off to Pleasant Hill Penitentiary, which the location tut is actually the Ohio State Reformatory in Mansfield, Ohio, where apparently the Shawshank Redemption was also filmed.
No shit.
I never saw that movie. Was it better than this one?
I mean, it won some awards, I think. It won some awards.
I didn't see it either, so.
Damn, I wish I could do a Morgan Freeman accent.
Doctor, you never saw the Shawshank Redemption?
No, I did not.
I'm not alone. Okay.
Let me get my Slim Pickens on for a second. Are you boys shitting me?
I've read the Stephen King novella, which was called Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption, a couple of times.
Yeah, I never saw it. Never really looked like something I would enjoy, so I didn't waste any time on it.
This is a good movie. It was a real good movie. I'm sorry, it was. You know what? No, I'm not sorry. It was. It was.
Doctor, I did read the short story as well. I read everything at that point.
Actually, is the short story good? Because I never read it. Obviously not.
No, it's very good. It's different. It's because it's not horror, and that's King's thing has always been horror and suspense.
Yeah, I read everything King, and I tended to kind of get bummed out when I realized I was reading something not in the horror vein.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay.
Well, I'm just surprised that this takes place in Ohio. I didn't think, because there was a lot of CGI. What I thought were CGI shots of the outskirts of this building. I mean,
they do a ton of fake exterior shots, CGI of this building. But I think the actual location was that Mansfield, Ohio, abandoned reformatory. Well, Bronzy, upon arriving, receives the stereotypical, that is, prison welcome from the inmates. Look, everybody, we got ourselves a real tough guy.
Oh, God.
They actually say generic shit like that. And there's one prisoner who just barks like a dog all the time.
God, that's cliche too.
Come on, Sparky. Cool down, you'll live longer.
Oh, man. It's so cliche with the fresh meat and just all this.
Fresh meat, all that stuff. Again, I can't stress Bronzy.
That probably goes on in a prison.
Bronzy doesn't not this.
Might.
Maybe it will. I don't know.
I don't know.
I just know that Bronson would have had a few one-liners, and they don't give Bronzy this opportunity. That night,
I'll wait to see you tonight, darling.
That night,
he would have at least looked at one of the prisoners with that his best approximation of that Bronson smug look that he would give someone like,
Well, what they should have done, what they should have done is in the barking dog guy, instead of making that guy barking dog, because you can utilize that guy later, make another guy the barking dog guy, and he's like, "Rrr, rrr," and all of a sudden Bronson just looks over and gives him the stare, and then all of a sudden you hear him go, "Rrr, rrr." Come on,
you're neutered. I'm with Yax. Bronson did so much with just a glance, and there's not until late in the movie, like the last 10 minutes, where Bronzy does any kind of winks or any kind of facial nuances stuff. And that was Bronson's, claim to fame. If he didn't say something, he'd do it with his face. He doesn't do anything.
And you're right. That's a director or editor mistake.
It is. And basically what you're doing here in Escape from Death Block 13, unlike Death Kiss, is you went to the Hollywood Wax Museum and got a wax statue of Charles Bronson and put him in your movie, because you're not letting this guy be Bronson.
Okay, and just hear me out on this, because this is crazy talk. Is there a chance that they thought that, yes, we've got this Bronzy look-alike?
This is the movie where Bronzy's going to come into his own.
That maybe that there was something like, hey.
They could have hoped for that.
That's crazy, Doug.
It's the only thing that really kind of makes sense because other than him just looking like Bronzy and him changing his name to Bronzy, there's not a lot of Bronson in the movie.
No, which is why we're here.
Yes.
I'm not here to see Bronzy be Bronzy. I'm here to see Bronzy be Bronson.
You know what? I'm here to see Bronzy be Bronzy. I love you, Bronzy. I love you. You do your thing, man, and I will watch that movie.
Well, guess what?
You're my new Danny Trejo. I will watch everything that you do.
The right director maybe could pull Bronzy out of Bronzy and make something, but this is not tonight's film. So he's dealing with these inmates that are doing the usual stuff, and that night he's initiated into Pleasant Hill by the prison guards, dragging him out of his cell, clubbing him repeatedly in the balls, and then tasering him 1,000 times with these taser poles. Doctor, that is a shitload of electricity to pump into a man Bronzy's age. Right? Am I wrong? Like that is an insane amount of electricity he got pounded with.
My God, it's an insane amount of electricity. It even puts burn holes in his undershirt. There's so many to really oversaturate the point for some reason there.
Every day in the news, we see cops tasering, like people dying of just like normal tasers. These lightsaber tasers, these guys are using like, they pump this guy filled with like the Christmas tree in Rockefeller Center electricity. And they do that to everybody, and everybody just gets these huge burn marks in their clothes, but they're okay. Doctor, that's not realistic. Am I right?
I certainly wouldn't think so. No, not at all.
I was just waiting for him, like after about the third or fourth one where he hits him with that taser, he's like, ow. But no, also I couldn't help but the dude's literally like just tasering him, but the other cop is literally just holding him there. Like, you're tasering both of them. It was like,
oh, well,
I don't know.
Now Yax wants to bring science into
it bothers me.
Well, the next morning, a very sore Bronzy is woken up by the blonde, stylishly dressed warden Jacqueline Barzini. Yax, would you classify her as a gilf?
Possibly, yes.
Yeah.
Possibly, yes.
I think she's kind of a gilf. She's an attractive mid-60s warden, keeps herself up very nicely, and she personally delivers a fresh cup of coffee to her new prisoner, Bronzy, and explains the rules. If he does as he's told and doesn't cause her any problems, his stay at Pleasant Hill will be just fine. If not, she can make things very unpleasant for Bronzy. Man, Doctor, she was not a good actress, was she?
No. Although I think, honestly, at this point, I'm not really having a problem with anyone because nobody's good. So,
they're all bad.
Yeah, she's an attractive, like I said, around 60-year-old woman. I know she had a lot of credits where it looked like she had an uncredited extra in a lot of stuff. But yeah, I mean, nobody's. It's kind of hard to really say anyone's. I mean, no one's standing out.
I think you're absolutely right. It was one of those things to where, like, yeah, this is what we get. I'm in for it.
Well, speaking of cringeworthy actors, the prison cafeteria is filled to the brim with them, and that's where Bronzy's headed next. Pleasant Hill's biggest, toughest badass, Bunyan, calls Bronzy, "Hey, Buttercup." And there's that dude who barks like a dog doing his thing again. Bronzy's welcome to sit at a table filled with old dudes like Pappy and the Wizard, which you guessed it is an old dude with a long white beard who acts like he's a magical wizard. The wizard does know a thing or two about the secret tunnels that run underneath the prison and empty out into the nearby forest, though, so that could be useful information to Bronzy moving forward. But again,
I actually like the other guy, the kind of the head of that crew. I can't remember the character's name.
Tex, the guy with just a generic scowl on his face the whole time.
I kind of liked him. I don't know what it was, but he had it.
No, he didn't, Tut. He just looked constipated, and there was nothing at all.
Nobody in this movie had it at all.
I cannot stress to you how this was the perfect movie at the perfect time for me, and I rated it high because of that. And you're wrong, Tex. Tex has it. He has it.
Okay.
You're wrong.
After breakfast, you guys actually heard my sound effect.
I heard the very start of it.
Oh, damn it. All right. Well, speaking of the actors in this movie,
I heard that.
all the inmates are taken outside where they're given pointless tasks like shoveling the ground for no reason, or that one dude sweeping the side of the building with a push broom.
That's the way prison should be.
Actually, my kids are off school tomorrow. I might give them tasks like that while I recover from tonight's show. Did you guys have a good day off? Well, Dad made me clean the outside of the house with a push broom. Oh, the deck, the driveway? No, the house. During their break, a lame-ass boxing match breaks out between Bunyan, and it's not Bunyan like a bunion on your foot. It's Paul Bunyan. Obviously, he's a big dude. I'm the king of Cell Block 13. That's right. I own this place, baby.
Oh my God, the script. Just the horror of this script.
And a new tough guy who's been threatening to take over Cell Block 13 with his crew. They start fighting. The big guys just stand there in the middle of the courtyard, taking turns punching each other in the face over and over again, until right before the new dude knocks Bunyan out for good, dog barking dude stabs the newcomer in the side repeatedly with a shank, and a massive prison brawl erupts amongst all the inmates. Some poor bastard makes the mistake of grabbing Pappy's white ponytail, and the limber old son of a bitch does like a ninja kick and like sweeps this guy down the ground. Don't ever grab my ponytail. And Pappy whips that dude's ass. That
would
was
be like if you saw Willie Nelson, whatever age he is today, just start whipping somebody's ass.
No, it's exactly like me in the parking lot of an Applebee's when I had my ponytail and some freaking redneck grabbed it, and I turned around and I mud stomped that motherfucker.
Don't grab the ponytail.
That didn't happen, but it was fun to think about.
It's sad that you like imagined yourself as Pappy. I wish I'd had the balls like Pappy had. Meanwhile, Tut's wife's picking him up off the concrete. Get in the car, Jason.
Call me the wizard, damn it.
I'll take you to your. I'll get you a Band-Aid. We'll go to your D&D meeting. I should have done something.
Thou shalt not pass. Thou shalt not pass.
Well, things are getting ugly, and the warden who's watching up on the guard tower, she actually makes money because the guards wager on these fights, and she gets a cut of it. She's seen enough, and she orders her men to stop the riot with the use of smoke grenades. Oh, and she tells the guy up there with her on the fire off a few thousand rounds of this Gatling gun.
Oh, I couldn't figure out, like, how is it? This is a state prison, but we're going to put a minigun up on the guard tower. And literally, if I fire this thing, I'm firing like $5 a bullet. So I just blew through $5,000 in a second. And she's complaining like, I don't know.
I was happy that you could tell that this was a method she uses to break up stuff a lot. I was happy that like one dude did get shot in the leg, like because the guy was just holding it above his head, the Gatling gun. He wasn't like aiming at anything, and like some poor bastard did get his leg shot off.
And I will say this, Gary Jones. I don't know. I mean, I know you're a special effects dude, but I don't know if you're the audio dude. But the sound effect for this minigun, spot on. I love that sound. Just great. It was an A10 Warhog sound. It was great.
Yes, but technically, a minigun like that's an M134. They're really not known for their precision.
No, they're not. It makes no sense that they have this thing.
Especially when you close your eyes and just hold it above your head and just blindly.
The fact that, all of a sudden you fire one round and then all of a sudden all the prisoners are scattering. So he's just going to hit something. I'll just gingerly move between them.
Come on, man. I love this gun. I love this gun.
No, no one's talking poor about the gun, Tut. The gun is great when Jesse the Body Ventura is holding it, mowing down half of a Guatemalan jungle. Then the gun's great.
As children of Predator and then later Terminator 2, we love us a Gatling gun. We love us a Gatling gun.
Yes, but I want to see that it be, utilized properly.
Well, hang on, because you're going to get some Bunyan-esque cinema coming up later.
You sure are. That night, a terribly fake-looking CGI pigeon flies into the prison.
Oh, now we're at fucking Hogwarts.
Dude, go to our listeners and viewers, go to our YouTube page. You can find a short film we did way before the podcast called The Unreliables. Tut put in this fake bird in the opening credits that looks so much more realistic. The same flight pattern.
This is if that fake pigeon took a fake pigeon shit at some point.
I was just waiting for the sound effect.
The fake pigeon perches itself on the door to Bronzy's cell, looks in at Bronzy with its digital fake pigeon eyes, and wakes him up. Bronzy's alerted then to headlights and sounds of activity coming from outside the prison walls. And when we cut outside, we see what looks like a CGI Renda Rubber Products Recycling Factory delivery truck. That was not a real truck. That was a fake digitally made truck that pulled up. Two guards who looked like they might also be CGI standing there, and a CGI backdrop of the prison behind it. This whole sequence looked like a video game, and not a good video game.
No.
It looked like Resident Evil circa the early 2000s. And it's like, okay, this is where Tut's thing comes in. Like, so you didn't have access to the prison as much as you wanted, so you had to recreate some stuff on a soundstage. But did you really, you had to recreate all this stuff digitally? Because it looks...
But I mean, couldn't you get like $50 for a U-Haul rental and then go into After Effects and superimpose your graphic on that?
Nothing seemed natural at all. Starting with that fucking pigeon. The pigeon started
that
it
pigeon
all.
was a joke, dude.
It went downhill.
They should have had the pigeon drop a deuce on Bronzy's foot and then have him look at it and throw out a line. You're a bird of a different feather.
I want to be in Hufflepuff.
Well, the next day, while working on the prison's loading docks, Bronzy discovers that the Renda factory truck we saw the night before was delivering kilos of cocaine hidden in bags of recycled rubber chips that the prisoners used to landscape the prison yard. Don't think too much about that because we never get more into that drug smuggling ring than that.
They said it was a drug smuggling ring. Now we've got drugs. It all ties together.
That's all you need. That's all you need to know.
Who is smuggling them? Where they're being smuggled to?
That doesn't matter.
Oh, Mincy, don't worry your pretty little head about details.
Stay away from the plot points.
But it does seem like this intel might be exactly what Detective Borelli and Agent Langley were looking for. And imagine that, just then, the attractive 30-something Detective Borelli shows up at the prison, and after a flirty exchange, asks if Bronzy has any information for her.
Oh my God, and this was the most poorly written flirt ever.
Dude, it was hard to watch. We always said when we did the Bronson movies, he always had these love interests who were 20 years younger than him. There was no way these chicks would fall in love with Charles Bronson. But dude, these like early 30s, a very attractive African-American police detective. And he's like, there's no pretty faces in here. They all look like mine. And she's like, oh no, you're
not that bad.
I've seen some doozies. You're not bad. Like, what? No offense, Bronzy. I don't want Bronzy coming for me, but come on.
I actually thought that the actress was the lady who plays on The Flash. She plays the detective, the lawyer / detective there, but it wasn't her.
No.
You didn't feel the romantic tension there, Kate?
I did not feel the romantic.
I did feel tension. But it wasn't romantic. It was like gastrointestinal. It was just
Prisoner number 63 wants to escape from my pants. I guess prisoner 69 is where I was going to go.
I was about to say, I'm surprised you didn't go prisoner 69.
I slipped up. I said 63. That's how they. Hey, in Hungary, a 69 is called a 63.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Now,
Ask any of the horse farmers; they'll know what a 63 is.
No, they call that a Kovacs.
She asks if Bronzy has any information for her, and it through some very vague, like there's no way she could gather any kind of thing out of what he says. I do landscape, rubber chips, stuff. I'm having fun. She's like, got it. Got what we need.
Oh man, there needs to be a handler for the Bronzy franchise, and they should have said, no, I do landscape. I'm a gardener. Tie it into the next fucking movie.
Oh, and then Bronzy's the gardener in that one.
Ah,
I grew an affinity for it at Pleasant Hill.
No, but see, then he was Kovacs, so he would have to bring that Bela Lugosi accent with him. You don't want to have the gardener and this overlap in any way.
well, they should have had the Bronzy voice in this and then tied it all in.
No argument there.
Well, it's probably not a good idea for him and her to be having this conversation on those prison phones under the watchful
That everybody can
surveillance
listen to.
of the warden who's watching all this on her security cameras. But it's a bad idea in this movie, which is chock full of bad ideas. So whatever. Real quick. So things are escalating. Tension is rising. Plot points are developing. Is anything developing with your cigar boys other than the spice to me is actually dialed down even more. It's now a little below me on the nose. I did get a little bit of Nicaraguan mineral working its way into the retrohale, but the draw for me is still just leather and just a little bit of sweetness, which I'm attributing still to my beer.
I've gotten the actually I didn't get it, but once you said the Nicaraguan mineral, I can taste the mineral. But I almost want to say that that's the beer bringing that mineral out.
I don't think so. I gave it some space.
I'm going to say no because I mean I'm not drinking an IPA. Pilsner is very light, so I am definitely picking up that mineral. I agree with Cade. The spice has stayed very. I mean it hit on the initial light up, and then after
It's slowly just crescending down.
Yeah,
but it's still there. It's still there on the retrohale, and it makes it a very pleasant retrohale. I'm actually getting a little bit of the barnyard coming through that retrohale a little bit.
Okay, so we're getting the spice and mineral, and honestly, in the start of the final third, the spice does seem to be kind of swooping up a little again, which will be really nice. Which I think it would have to. I mean, with Connecticut and Pennsylvania broadleaf fillers, I can't see this thing really. The spice dying down, the pepper and the strength leaving to a minimal amount. But man,
but to your point there, I'm kind of surprised that they actually were able to tone it down with those broadleafs.
I am too. It really that middle section was mellow, nice spice, but nothing overpowering, and it really just let the leather shine. It let the mineral come in, and again. A sweetness there that I'm going to attribute to the citrus of the beer, but maybe broadleaf is a sweet leaf. So maybe some of that's seeping through there and it's just kind of activating it, if that makes sense. I am enjoying the cigar quite a bit.
I am too. I'll go ahead and say this. I think this is probably my favorite Room 101 cigar that I've smoked.
What?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. It's the more that leans towards that Nicaraguan profile that I really like. Room 101 has always been kind of just I don't know.
His best stuff for me is it's Honduran in nature. He makes beautiful Honduran blends. I say that loving the Ecuadorian, the Namakubi, which we went on a box split with that. We all loved that Murder Hornet earlier in the year, which I thought I thought brought back a lot of the classic Room 101 taste. This is it. You love the cigar, huh?
Maybe I'm just drunk and full of bronzy. I'm loving everything. I do love the cigar.
Hey, the cigar can affect the beer can affect the cigar, the movie can affect both. So that's a very distinct possibility, Todd. I'm not gonna disregard that.
Well, it's amazing. You drink a few beers and all of a sudden you love everything.
Man, his
God
cowboy hat and his Lufkin Panther T-shirt. I'm liking this. I'm loving it. Yeah.
God bless America. Okay, I'm really digging this cigar too.
Smarmy Tut is dead. Cowboy Lovin' Tut is here.
It is not. It is not what I'm accustomed to going for in a Room 101 cigar, flavor wise. His best blends to me are those Honduran heavy, the earlier stuff. Although,
but see, that's just it. I've never gotten that heavy aspect. Even you say that it's more the Honduran style. I've never gotten just that heaviness of the Honduran from Room 101.
No, I haven't either. But I'm saying that's what I always loved about
it. First of all, I can't even enunciate Room 101 right now.
Room 101.
To our listeners, disregard everything I say from this point on.
Well, I think we could agree to I mean, it is a very smooth, medium to full cigar so far. I'm digging it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Across town at Renda's Rubber Products, Mr. Renda, wearing the exact same outfit that he was wearing weeks ago when we first saw him, as I said, I think they only had Nicholas Turturro for one day of shooting, and they just didn't bother to change his wardrobe, is explaining to the warden and her right-hand man, Deputy Warden Bright, that Bronzy's brother Laszlo stumbled onto their drug smuggling operation, and he had no choice but to kill the Hungarian. He had no idea that the guy's brother, who looks just like Charles Bronson, was going to show up and cause trouble. How could he know that?
He couldn't.
The warden tells Renda that they're expecting some big shipments of cocaine coming through, and he needs to run all of his little antics by her first, as she's the boss.
Oh, God.
So, serious question. Does anybody offer acting lessons anymore? Like, is that not a thing anymore? Like, nobody does that?
Does anybody look at reels anymore? I mean,
to be fair to this movie, in case you guys or perhaps some out in our audience see me as being overly harsh towards this cast, I've been watching the original Twin Peaks television series over the last few weeks, which features some truly beautiful performances. Honestly, too many to name. So to go from watching those nuanced characters remarkably brought to life by true thespians and masters in their craft, to go from that and then like 30 minutes later turn this on.
No.
I just wanted to explain that's not fair to this movie. And I wanted to explain where I was as a viewer. But still, if someone gives you money to make a movie, you got to do better than this.
No. I'm going to. God, I'm going to hate doing this. I'm about to give you mad props. Madder props than I've ever given you before in like the years since a lesbian wedding when we met. What you did with Fritz, Mincy, Joe, fucking young Paul, who's never even seen a movie script, they turned out better actors than anybody that was in this movie. Anybody except for the Badabucci guy from
Boom Boom Washington.
Back Carter. I mean, dude, if you can't get the thing out of the actors as a director, then get better actors. Well, but it's not on the actors themselves. A director who knows how to do stuff can get crap out of people who never acted before. I've seen you do it. I'm not saying that Cato's responsible for you, Mincy. You're a pretty fucking genius. I like it.
Well, thank you, Todd.
I was very hands off with the doctor. He does his preparation and he asks questions when he needs answers, and then he brings.
Oh, I know. There was something I can't remember exactly what it was during Hipster, but I was like getting into Doc's groove, and I could tell because even though Doc didn't say anything, I could tell that he was getting irritated, and I was just like, "Oh, Doc's doing his thing. Doc's doing his thing."
I hope I didn't become irritated.
Well,
No, I could just tell that I was fucking with your flow.
to you, listeners and viewers, what Tut is graciously referencing is before we got into this podcast business, we used to make little movies, not independent movies, underground feature films. And once we started the podcast, we did some short films, which you can find on our YouTube channel. And we used traditionally non-actors. We used the curse of what they say is the curse of independent films, casting your friends. But I always felt if you wrote things knowing you were going to be using your friends and you were a director halfway worth of salt, you could bring things out of them and make them relax and bring some of those characteristics that you love about them as people. And not saying that, they're playing themselves, but you're able to tap into things.
Christ, I hope.
Yeah, because Mincy, you're fucked up if you are.
But as a director, your job is to rehearse and to make these people feel comfortable creating these characters the way that you envision them, especially as a writer director. And thank you, Tut, because we do that a lot with non-actors, and it's a fun exercise to see these people who've never acted before relax enough to give themselves to the experience and actually deliver something outside of themselves. And when you watch a movie where people actually who claim to be actors suck on this magnitude of a level, you really, I agree, have to start pointing fingers at the director. And then
two-way street. I think
you can't turn cow shit into gold. Someone's bad, they're bad, but you knew they were bad when you auditioned them, and you did nothing to either recast it or to make them better. And this warden chick is a major fucking character in this movie, and she's terrible. She's
horrible,
terrible. And you can't tell me in the state of Ohio, there's not a local middle-aged actress who couldn't bring it here and do something interesting. They're out.
Maybe 10 of them turned it down.
Maybe so.
I mean,
but why? It's fucking Bronzy. Come on.
Well, I'm sure they probably actresses. Well, I'm sure during the when they were doing the audition, is he going to be doing? Are they going to actually do Bronson voice? And they said no. He's going to speak in his own voice. They're like, I'm out.
I'm out. That's like I sent out a Instagram post. I put a picture of Bronzy on there on the TNCC page, and I tagged a Sly Stallone official, and I'm like, dude, you got to put this guy in Expendables. You can work with him.
That would be great. I would love to see Bronzy show up in the Expendables movie. But all I'm saying is you got to do better. You got to do better than this.
And also, do you know what the cost of CGI pigeons is right now? Astronomical.
And the great earlier Bronzy movies, Death Kiss, Cry Havoc was not as good, but they did the smart thing where they surrounded Bronzy with great character actors like Richard Tyson.
And the lady who played his love interest in Death Kiss, even though it made no sense that she was in love with Bronzy, she was a great actress.
Her last name's Hamilton. Her first name escapes me. She was absolutely badass. This young actress. They even put what's the Baldwin brother? Daniel. Remember he was the radio DJ in Death Kiss?
Yeah. I forgot about him.
I sense a laziness aspect here, and it's just in everything, in casting, in choreographing scenes, and directing. There's a very lazy aspect.
Doctor, it's the Papa John's of filmmaking. We'll make a pizza and somebody will buy it.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not like hey, she's a woman, she's the right age, you're the warden. Hey, this guy looks like he might be a scary dude, you're a prison inmate. It was just
And the thing about this chick who plays the warden, I'm not totally putting the fault on her because her IMDb page said something like she got cast at a late age as like an extra in an Avengers movie and got bitten by the acting bug and just started getting cast and stuff. Again, take some lessons, learn to go from a background actor in Avengers to a feature talking major role in a Robert Bronzy production. God damn it. Step up. Director, pull her aside and get in her head and figure out how you can pull something out of this chick.
So I hope you're being sarcastic because nobody knows who Robert Bronzy is. I mean, come on, this isn't a big production. This is shit.
Hey!
I was being half sarcastic.
Your tone there, Doug.
What's your tone? Full sarcastic. It's a cheap movie.
There was some sarcasm there.
I'm going to be on my horse, Mincy. I'm going to need you to watch your tone there when you're talking about Robert Bronzy.
Oh, by the way,
everybody should know who this cowpoke is.
Should and actually do is another story.
By the way, we've talked a lot about TV shows tonight. On Fox's football coverage, they've been promoting the hell out of this new show. And it's like country western music's top family, the things they do to stay on top of the country music business. And it's Susan Sarandon as this wife of this country music superstar. And like, I'll do anything it takes to keep him on the main stage. And it's like coming this fall from Fox. And dude, the main star, the guy is Trace Adkins.
Oh God!
I have not caught that yet, but I don't pay much
attention. I do not want to watch this, but I think I'm going to have to.
It's like Yellowstone with music.
You know the name of the show?
Tell you son of a bitch.
No, it's escaped me. It's something like I'll look it up on the next break, but the thing looks hilarious. It's got like this scene of her like massaging Trace as he's doing his ponytail backstage. Like, you've got this, honey. And he's like, I've got this. The king wears the crown.
It's like Trace Adkins, except a cow. He's in the Biggie portrait, except for the cowboy hat on top to the side. It's a crown.
It's like The Sopranos meets Pure Country.
Oh God, no!
How could that not be a thing?
Mincy, hold on to your lazy accusation, because when we get to the explosion at the end, I want to revisit that.
I thought you were about to say to me, "Hold on to your lazy ass." I was like, "Hey, Tut, come on, man." I said, "I like that."
No. This is Country Tut who loves everything. Country drunk Tut loves everything. He's not going to tell you, "Hold on to your lazy ass." Excuse me. Hold on to your lazy ass.
Lazy ass. Well, that night, the guards tasered the shit out of Bronzy's goofball buddy, Greenhorn, sending him tumbling off a second-story railing with his brain splattering all over the floor. That was actually a really nice effect.
It's actually a good effect. And I'm going to give George Jones crap on all of his other effects.
Gary Jones, you're stuck in country music world.
Yeah, whatever.
George Jones had nothing to do with this.
He might as well have. And I'll give him a lot of shit, but the brain splatter looked good. And the body, when they got him up on the litter, that looked really good.
Correct.
And that's where the budget of this movie went to.
Monarch.
I think the entire special effects went to Greenhorn's brains.
Monarch, is that the name of it?
Monarch.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's the right response. Jesus. I'm getting another fucking beer. I need another necessary evil.
I just got word that Travis Tritt's planning a concert in the same town the same night. You know what to do. You know what to do.
I'm sorry, Travis Tritt will whoop that motherfucker's ass all
do you
up
think
and down.
Do you think they're actually going to like
have
him be in there regularly, or like he's going to get killed off in one episode or something, or?
No, Trace Adkins, he'll be in there.
Fox did a series about like an R&B record empire. It was called Empire, I think, where it was like this kind of mob type with R&B music. I think this is the equivalent. Only Trace Atkins is the Biggie Smalls.
So at the end of the episode, when Travis Tritt
I actually
is
watched a couple
run
of
over by a
episodes of that
Kubota
fucking
tractor, they don't know who to investigate. Who did it?
He was
Well,
run
he got
over
ran
by
over with a Kubota.
he was run over by a Case tractor. Who do you think did it?
Tut, do you want to start Monday Night Monarch where we wear our cowboy hats and talk about the show?
Yes. I'll tell you, that some bitch can act. He just got on that Kubota tractor and just goddamn American.
He makes Tim McGraw's performance in Friday Night Lights look like nothing but cow chips melting under a July sun.
I hate to date myself, but he made Tim McGraw look like Tim Magoo. I mean, he was just blind all up and down that set.
Hey, I haven't seen an episode of Monarch, but I'm going to just go ahead and say it looks like it features a lot of hints of rodeo stuff. And I will watch it just because Trace Atkins is in it.
I know you will.
To be the king, you better beat the king.
Whoa.
I'm the motherfucker who makes the goddamn motherfucking moves. All right.
Who's this blowing up my beeper?
I got 3 boxes of ZD in my guitar case. You see,
leave the gun, take the chicken fried steak.
I can't believe I haven't seen a commercial for this yet.
No. Well, look, by killing that goofy bastard Greenhorn, the warden needed to send a message. And by making Bronzy mop up the brains, she's delivered her message loud and clear. She tells Bronzy that she knows he's working with law enforcement and they can't be trusted. As soon as they get what you got to offer, Bronzy, they're going to clip your wings and leave you for dead. I think that's a pigeon reference to that pigeon. But if you work with us, we're family. That's the thing. Like, her name is like Warden Brazili. Like, they all have Italian names, but she's clearly not.
Hey. No, not at all.
Even the African American detective was like Detective Spinelli or something. It's like, what? Anyway, and if he doesn't agree to work for the warden, she'll bury his ass here at Pleasant Hill. When she gets back to her office, 3 generic mafia members are waiting for her to voice their displeasure at the news that Bronzy has infiltrated their prison. But she assures them she's in total control. So they agree. All right, you can handle this. I don't know why I said that like Bronzy. Say an Italian voice is like, all right, you can handle this. And they get up and you hear them talk as they're leaving. Let's go find some Italian food. And like one guy's like, there's a place down the street that serves good spaghetti. Like, yeah, let's go down there. Like, these are the most, we never see these.
That's why I thought that this was done in Hungarian.
No,
I thought this was done in Hungary. I thought this was Hungarian writers. I thought that this was people.
These are Sandusky, Ohio.
That don't know. I thought that this was people that don't know American culture who are
No, that's what's
American
so crazy,
culture.
Tut. That's what's so crazy, Tut. You thought these were European actors that don't know how to speak English. These were Ohio actors.
We've done movies like that were obviously done in a foreign country, that were writing for an American audience, that they were writing what they thought American audiences wanted. I thought that's what this movie was.
It does seem that way, but these were just bad Ohio theater actors trying to be mafia gang guys. Let's go get some meatballs. You got it, boss.
I like that. These were Ohio theater actors.
They literally say that at one point, I think, like, let's go someplace that serves Italian food. I know a place that's got meatballs.
On Thursday night, they're back to Welcome to River City.
Welcome to the Sandusky, Ohio BJ's Brew House. Maybe some spaghetti.
What's the matter? You don't like a Sandusky ravioli?
No, I'm going to write that down. Let me write that down for you.
Actually, I have a cousin. Our longtime listeners of yours will know I actually originated from Ohio. A lot of my family's still there. I have a cousin whose nickname is the Sandusky Meatball. That's enough about BC. He's put that behind him, and This film was shot. Quick story. This film was shot in Mansfield, Ohio. Speaking of my cousin BC, one year, about 10 years ago or so, my wife and I traveled back to Ohio to see some family, and we went to visit my cousin. He lived in Wooster, Ohio, which was kind of out in the middle of nowhere. And we were traveling back to my hometown in Ohio, and we got lost. And I found myself at a Starbucks in the middle of nowhere. And my wife still once or twice a year brings us up to mock me and ridicule me to no end. I pull into Starbucks, and the lady's like, "Welcome to Starbucks. Can I help you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, this is going to sound great. This is back before GPS and, didn't have it all on our phones." And I'm like, "This is going to sound kind of great. Can you tell me where I am? I'm kind of lost." And I was kind of flustered, and I could have swore she said we were in Beansfield, Ohio. And I'm like, "Beansfield? Oh, I get it. Coffee. No, I mean, where are we really?" And this teenage girl working at Starbucks kind of looks at me weird, and my wife turns to me. She's like, "She said Mansfield. You're in Mansfield, Ohio. Nobody said Beansfield." And I was like, "Oh." And I was like, "Well, can you tell me how to get to where it was?" And like, I was such an asshole about it. Like the chick wouldn't talk to me anymore. It took me like 3 hours to make an hour trip from Beansfield to wherever the hell I was going. Anyway, there is no Beansfield, Ohio, by the way. I learned that the hard way. I should have said that in the Bronzy voice. Beansfield. What is this? Some kind of joke? Once the sun goes down, the warden invites the Neanderthal Bunyan up to her office for a steak dinner. That's a pathetic looking steak, isn't it? I mean, I'm guessing it's the prison cafeteria made it for him, but
what were you expecting? Oh, they spared no expense anywhere else.
As a romantic Celine Dion type ballad plays on her stereo in her office, she tells the lunkhead that she needs his help taking care of something important. And he reluctantly nods and eats his steak. I don't like the sound of that. Do you, Doctor?
I have to confess, I've already moved on mentally to whenever Monarch is going to debut.
Dude, we're totally going to do a show on the first couple episodes of Monarch.
Medium rare. The steak on my hopes.
Somebody sabotaged my jeans. I can't go on stage. There's no accident. Sabotage. Did you starch my jeans? No.
Sorry. Yes, there's bad foreboding after the steak dinner.
Well, Bronzy should not like the sound of any of this because the following morning, Bunyan picks a fight with Bronzy in the cafeteria at breakfast. When Bronzy stomps his boot on the big guy's eggs that have spilled onto the floor, now they're scrambled like your brains are about to be. Again, he doesn't say anything cool like that, but I will. Shit escalates fast. And when Bunyan's pal, the dog barking idiot, comes up behind Bronzy aggressively, he gets an elbow to the jaw, which makes that stupid ass chomp down on his tongue, sending his severed tongue soaring across the cafeteria. And this one dude gleefully holds up his cup of orange juice and catches the tongue in it. He's like, "Yeah, I got it."
He tries to. He actually tries to do that.
He actually tries to catch it, and he does.
Best sequence of the movie.
Woof, woof. As they're held apart by guards, Bunyan warns Bronzy. "A storm's coming. A storm is coming for you, Bronzy." Bronzy's in big trouble. Yax, Bunyan's talking metaphorically there about a storm coming. It's not an actual weather storm. He's bringing
No, it's a weather report was clear skies.
Storm of trouble is coming.
Storm of trouble.
So there's a little bit of subtext in the screenplay there.
Deep metaphor.
Yeah. Oh, and when Bronzy sits back down with his loser buddies to eat, those old dudes, All of his coward friends tell him, including his cell next door neighbor Tex, don't count on us for any help with this.
At least they're honest.
That
love the honesty.
That rang a little too familiar and true for me. Hey, whatever you're going to do, Bronzy, don't look at us for any kind of help.
It was as if we were sitting at that table with him.
That was TNCC style.
That's untrue. When that motherfucker
God,
when that motherfucker at O'Brien's historic downtown Temple, Texas, made fun of your shirt, and I thought that you were about to go for it, I was going to step up and I was going to be like, all right, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. And then Kate was like, no, don't disrespect the pub. And you like rightfully didn't do anything, but I was on board. I was saddled up, partner.
Yeah, we almost got into it a couple times over the years, and you did step up, Todd. Thank you.
And I can say that now because I'm glad that you didn't, because then that would like actually like done.
I can gladly say in all of our years of getting completely unconsciously drunk at O'Brien's Irish pub in downtown historic Temple, Texas, we never disrespected the pub. I mean, we did
never disrespect the pub.
We disrespected it with urine, with puke, with inappropriate comments, really inappropriate sampler substitution requests. We did everything else, but we never fought in the pub. You're welcome.
Fought outside the pub.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. I think it went without saying.
Every man has his limits. I think that's the tagline of Monarch. Every man has his limits.
No, that's too cool sounding.
Somebody took your ponytail braids. I guess we could braid it and not do a ponytail tonight. You got to be fucking kidding me.
Probably won't have F-bombs if it's on Fox.
Sure enough, on their way to work duty, Bunyan rips off his shirt, and then he rips off Bronzy's shirt, and they get into a big old brawl with all their fellow inmates circled around them, dancing in place, pumping their fists in the air, and screaming over and over things like, kill him, finish him. It was a lot like our Boot of Remembrance video. Yeah, right, yeah. But it goes on for like 10 minutes.
And I like the way all the fights in this movie, they're not like brawls. They're not like two guys just like, bam, sandwich and fall to the floor punching. It's like, all right, we're going to fight. Excuse me. Queens of Hayworth rules? Okay. All right, I'm going to get my dukes up, and we're going to fight.
They always put their dukes up and just circle around for a while. Eventually, after exchanging dozens of punches patiently, Bronzy gets the upper hand, and just as he's about to strangle Bunyan to death with a metal chain under the approving smile of the warden who's watching from above, he releases his death grip on the big oaf. He's not a killer, boys. He's not a killer. The warden's not happy. She was mouthing to Bronzy, finish him. And he didn't. He defied
your stool.
He defied her commands. He's not her stool pigeon. All of a sudden, that pigeon comes in and shakes its head.
Pigeon comes in, shits on the warden's forehead, and we end the movie there. Is that a turd or a pigeon squawking?
That was the pigeon swooping in. That's my pigeon sound effect. Does that work for you guys?
This is how I know the beer is working, is that I'm laughing at your fart noise.
I'm just glad you can hear him. It's working. Everything's coming together tonight, boys. She's not happy one bit, so she sends both Bronzy and Bunyan to solitary confinement, orders everyone else to their cells, and tells her deputy warden to summon the doctor. Doctor. When you heard her summon the doctor, you had to get a little tingling inside, right?
I had lost my ability to tingle at anything in this movie by that point.
Oh, and dude, this was a total American movie moment because we see her tell the deputy warden, send them to solitary, put everyone else in their cells. And then you cut to him and he's like, send everyone to solitary, put everyone in their cells. Like, Just repeat everything I just said to you, but louder. And summon the doctor. Well, doctor, you may not have got excited by the summoning of the doctor, but I sure did. You know what else I get excited about, Todd?
What's that?
I get excited. That's right. About Drew Estate cigars every time I light one up. And the almighty Drew Estate is about to make someone a whole lot richer. During its latest freestyle live show on the company's Facebook live page, facebook.com/Drew Estate Cigar, Drew Estate announced it will hold a Bitcoin sweepstakes with numerous incredible prizes during the upcoming freestyle live events, including a grand prize of 1 full Bitcoin for a lucky fan to be announced during the February 17th, 2022 edition of Freestyle Live. Dude, they're giving away Ford trucks, ATVs, a big ass fucking bar, which would look great here in the corner of No. It would actually take up the entire corner of No Hope. We'd have to really do some logistics to.
I would love that thing.
Oh, I would make it work somehow. Daddy, why don't I have a bedroom anymore? I had to get this bar in here somewhere, baby.
You've got a mattress on top of our Drew Estate bar, but you need to put that up in the morning.
A lot of kids like sleeping in the bathtub. I don't know why I said that like Trace Atkins.
Well, that's the funny thing is that as soon as we got into this, I'm thinking like Drew Estate's giving away a Bitcoin.
Entry into the unheralded Drew Estate Bitcoin sweepstakes is simple. During each of the company's 3 freestyle live events, October 15th, November 11th, tomorrow night, and January 20th, 2022, the company will be randomly selecting the names of 5 people who attend the online show and comment during specific times in each broadcast as potential winners of an assortment of fantastic prizes. I'm not kidding. These prizes are off the chart. Awesome. The 5 winners from each of these 3 shows will create the contestant pool of 15 people eligible to win the grand prize Bitcoin. How crazy is that? That's really crazy, Tut. Not just a little bit crazy.
That's not just a little bit crazy. You're absolutely right, partner.
And while we're talking about super cool, crazy stuff, I'd like to take a hot minute once again to let you know about something very cool, Cigar World. Cigar World's an online site for cigar smokers. There you can get cigar news, reviews, and a whole lot more. Also on the site is a cigar research panel called the Testing Lab. You can sign up to give your input on new cigars by taking surveys and testing cigars. Trust me, it's worth checking out. You can go to cigarworld.com/testing lab and let your voice and opinions be heard. Hey,
this promo was not brought to you by the Fox hit show Monarch. Damn sure should be.
Hey, at cigarworld.com/testing labs, you can play like you're Aaron Rodgers and do your own research.
Bear down.
Bear down. Fucking dipshit. You know, I'm what's called a critical thinker. I like to do my own. Okay. I'd like to see Aaron Rodgers hunkered down with his microscope, analyzing shit that these doctors have been doing it for what, 20 years, analyzing coronaviruses and all that. He's got this. He's got this.
I'm sorry that I misled, or I'm sorry that you were misled by your thoughts of what my affirmation statement was.
You know, I petitioned the NFL to let them consider me immune to the coronavirus because I tickled myself with some horse feathers and listened to some Tori Amos records. And they seemed to think that was not a suitable, that was not a suitable replacement for the vaccine. And
I'm pretty sure that does work, by the way, though.
It actually gave me a gigantic rash. But I might have been listening to the wrong Tori Amos records.
Oh, I bet you were listening to Fiona Apple. I think that's
no, actually, Tut. When I looked at where the rash was, I was listening to Annie DeFranco.
Hey, don't you be disparaging my baby Annie.
That's
I
on
like
me.
it.
That's on me. Annie DeWho?
I'm sorry. I'm an Annie DeFranco fan.
I almost said the same thing there. I'm on the same page with Trace on that one. Your references flew over.
Do you think Annie DeFranco will be appearing on Monarch anytime soon?
No.
Rem- remember the doctor that the warden summoned? It was just a couple minutes ago.
By the way, I'm kind of like almost done with this thing.
Okay. Well, let's finish up the cigar real quick.
I don't know where you boys are on this.
I am almost close, and we're almost done with the movie. So let's address this. I'm in the final third. The spice and the strength of that pepper on the retro kicked up a little bit in the last third, which I was really happy about. That mineral kicked up as well, so it was kind of a nice balance of mineral and spice. And then the leather and sweetness continued to just be super pleasant up to this point. Does that sound like what you guys are getting?
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. I think all the flavors intensified in that last third, which really, I mean, I'm not going to say I appreciated the way it mellowed down. I wish it would have had this strength all the way through it. I don't mind, a cigar that doesn't do this ebb and flow transition of stuff. I love what this has given me in the last third. I love what it gave me in the first third. I wish it would have delivered in the entire cigar. But yeah, the final third of this thing is badass. I mean, there's no way around it, partner.
To stick with the football thing we've been talking about a lot tonight, it was like a really gangbusters first quarter, and then things slow down in the second quarter, and then after halftime. But then it's just that fourth quarter kicks back in, and I'm digging. It is not my favorite Room 101 cigar.
I'm a Longhorn fan, so I don't know anything about kicking it up in the fourth quarter.
Well, as a Longhorn fan, you would not know anything about what I'm talking about. But it is a very good cigar. Like I said, I tend to really like Room 101 cigars. This is outside their typical wheelhouse with this much broadleaf, but I liked it a lot. Yaks, is all this making sense to you?
It is very much making sense to me. I will agree. And even for me right now, I mean, it really hasn't dialed back to where it was in the beginning. It never quite very mellow.
It never quite gets back to that first impression strength wise.
It still has really good flavors. Like I said, I mean, I wish it would have stuck with that in the beginning. That would have been awesome.
And I will say this, Yaks, I think going with you're doing the Hans Pils, I think with a hoppy IPA, a citrus forward IPA like Tut and I had, it really brought out the sweetness of that broadleaf to go with that leather. This would have been a totally different cigar with something else. I think pairing wise, the citrus forward hoppy IPA is the way to go on this cigar.
If I were a professional, I would listen back to other podcasts to see if there were another pairing that I would put up with this. But right now, man, I'm just saying that that citrus forward IPA with this cigar is probably my favorite pairing that I've done this year.
Yeah, it's been gangbusters.
And I want to, when we get towards the end of the year and we're trying to put our top 10 list of the year, I might, if there's anywhere I can find one of those Murder Hornets, I probably want to go back and revisit that, because I do remember loving that cigar a lot.
Well, Tut,
but I'm still kind of like, man, I still want to say this is my favorite Room 101 offering.
Well, Tut, unlike Aaron Rodgers, who puts his faith and trust into an unreliable podcast host like Joe Rogan, I've actually got a Murder Hornet with your name on it.
All right.
And I want to revisit that too, because I think it's going to be a battle between these two. These are two of the best cigars I've had this year. And I really want to go back to that. I'm sorry, Yaks, we only have two more Murder Hornets. I want to go back and do a Pepsi challenge with these two, because that one reminded me a lot of the glory days of Room 101 from the Davidoff years, and very subtle, very simple, but just right in my wheelhouse flavors. This one was so different, but damn it if it wasn't made for a great smoking experience. So Tut, I'll get you a Murder Hornet for evaluation before our end of the year list. let's go ahead and talk price point. This is a regular production stick. He started out the Farce with, I believe, the Habano Farce, and then he introduced the Connecticut Farce. And then this is after he came back out of his brief retirement, which we discussed with him on the show. It was like a 6-month retirement, which wasn't really a retirement. It was more like
a Prince retirement.
It was a divorce. And then he started dating very quickly after that divorce. Which, if you haven't seen that interview with us, go to our YouTube channel. It's a phenomenal interview. But yeah, he followed it up, the third entry into the Farce line with the Maduro. And I've had the Habano and the Connecticut, and by far, this is the most interesting of the three. So price point, Tut.
Hey, I'm going to go $13.25.
$13.25. Yeah, quite. You know, Room 101's kind of all over there. They've got the big paybacks, which are a little on the lower side. They've got, but it's also kind of unique because a lot of his blends that he used to do, he doesn't do anymore. So he's kind of reintroducing a lot of stuff, introducing new stuff. It's kind of all over the place, but he never tends to go too pricey, which I respect. $13.75, Tut?
25.
Okay.
I'll go $11.50.
$11.50. Almost $2 less. These suckers cost us $10.80.
Good deal. That's a good deal.
$10.80. And it's a slow burning smoke. It's lasted a good while. Construction was great. I've only had to relight because running my jaws so much. So yeah, $10.80. I'm totally cool with that. It's a great $10 stick. It's a phenomenal $10 stick, actually. Please remember
the funny thing is I've actually bought this before at Smoker's Abbey because when he gets a new line in and he gets some new stuff, he's like, hey man, you gotta try this. And usually what I do when I go in there, I'll buy like 2 cigars that I'm familiar with and I want, and then the third cigar I'll be like, pick me something, just go nuts, whatever, my profile, do it. And then I remember picking the Farce out, or him picking the Farce out, but I don't remember what I paid for it.
Okay, and it might there's a brewery next door, so it could have been a Farce Connecticut or a Farce Urbana.
Totally good.
They look very similar. You may not have had this cigar, but please remember, folks, when purchasing some fine Room 101 cigars or other fine premium stogies from FamousSmokeShop.com, to use your new favorite promo code TNCC20 at checkout, where it will knock $20 off your purchase of $100 or more. I think you get 2 5-packs of this at 50-something bucks, $20 off, man. You get out of there for like 70-something bucks with 10 of these guys. It's a phenomenal.
I'm just saying that I got an A in Calculus 1, a B in Calculus 2, and then an A in Calculus 3. And if you spend $100 and get $20 off, that's like 20% off.
Hey, UT at its finest.
That's good calculus, Tut.
Thank you. Don't ask me what my discrete math grade is.
No, I wasn't going to go there.
It's a sore subject.
I imagine it's probably what Trace Atkins himself got at Stephen F. Austin back when he attended that.
An A?
Yeah, man. Welcome to the world of broadleaf blends, Matt Booth. This is really good. I'm impressed by this cigar.
I am. I really, like I said, I'm not backing off that. Right now, it's my favorite cigar of Room 101. I remember the Namakubi. I liked the Namakubi. I just really like this cigar. It's gravitating to me.
He's actually bringing back the Namakubi at the end of this year. We're out of money, so I won't be able to get that for us. But maybe next year. We'll see. Lots of changes coming afoot. We'll see. Okay. Well, remember the doctor? It seems like forever ago I mentioned it. The doctor that the warden summoned? Get the doctor, she said. Well, the doctor shows up, rocking a white lab coat and dark frame glasses, just like our doctor.
That's how you know he's real.
Yeah.
He looks authentic to me.
He even had a stethoscope tucked in his little shirt pocket.
How you know he's real, man?
Don't leave home without one of those.
And just as the tall weirdo, not you, doctor, this tall
Hey.
weirdo, this guy, just as he's about to inject Bronzy with a large syringe full of poison, I don't know why they didn't just kill him. They have a million guards and guns, and they killed Greenbrier, or whatever that guy's name was. They just threw him off the.
They literally fired a minigun at prisoners who had a small skirmish.
No,
in the
let's bring in the doctor to take care of this guy. He was kind of like, I think supposed to be like that dude in True Lies that with the truth serum. He had like his little goodie bag of syringes, and it didn't make it.
You need a shot? You need a shot.
I could use a shot. Whiskey.
That was my Cannonball Run 2 reference.
I never saw that. Was it good?
It
It was
phenomenal.
Oh, okay. All right. Is Bronzy in that?
No, he should be though.
Okay. Well, just as he's about to fill Bronzy with a large syringe full of poison, Bunyan breaks free from his solitary cell door next door, beats up his guard, and then breaks into Bronzy's cell and injects the doctor with his own poison instead.
Bunyan.
Stabbed. I guess you could say the doctor was stabbed by his own sword.
Indeed.
Taste of his own medicine.
Yes. You see,
He had a taste of his own medicine.
You see, Bunyan owed Bronzy one for sparing his life. He could have killed him in that match, and he didn't. So the big guy's making things right. Oh, and it just so happens that upstairs in the main prison, all of the inmates have chosen that exact moment to rebel against the warden, and they start a full-blown riot, knocking out prison guards right and left, biting their arms, shooting them with their guns, all weirdly filmed in front of green screens, which was weird. I didn't get why they didn't shoot it. Whatever. All right. Well, Tut, she isn't pleased as she watches all this green screen violence unfold on their security monitors. I want them dead now, she says. Finish the job.
All right. So here's what I'm thinking about this green screen stuff. You had the prison for like maybe 1 or 2 days. They knew they weren't going to be able to shoot all their stuff there. So I'm really thinking that green screen guru who's worked on the Avenger movies. Oh, wait, no, that was the warden who was just an extra on the Avenger movies.
Right.
The green screen guru, George Jones, who did the wrong movies. And I think that he was like, yeah, George Jones is what I said. And I think he was like, all right, I don't have time to do all these scenes here. So we're just going to shoot some stills of the Ohio prison, and then we'll green screen that, and then we'll use the stills that I shot.
That's clearly what he did.
Yeah,
These
it
guys,
was horrible.
these guys are just fighting in front of a green screen of some cell blocks somewhere on a stage, and it looked terrible. It looked terrible.
The only thing that makes sense is that they didn't have time enough to shoot all this, and then this was their plan going in all along, because it made no sense of why you have the access to this prison, but then all this shit is shot on green screen.
Almost more baffling. Have you guys had a beer where you pop the cap and it doesn't puncture the top of the beer?
Many a time.
Yeah, that's happened before.
Yeah. You just got to work it.
Well,
Come on, Cade.
Now I tore off the cap and it just created a tiny little hole. Oh, Jesus. On my laptop. I just poured it all over my laptop, so we're probably going to lose the show. Great.
Oh, that's some good stuff right there.
I guess I'll just pour it out of this tiny hole. It did look jarringly fake, all this fight footage. Like Tut said, they didn't. Hey, we're gonna need stuff after the fact when we're not allowed in here anymore. So let's just grab some footage and we'll have guys fight in front of a green screen. But it just looked terrible, and
it looked horrible.
This goes back to what I was saying with the acting. Somebody is giving you money to make a movie. You got to do better than this.
I agree, especially if you had a budget that was over Death Kiss. I mean, this is
Dude,
bad.
You don't know what their budget was.
But-
I'm not
but-
defending any of this in any way, but I think it's poorly made. I think we all agree on that.
But Doctor, the Tut referenced our film that we did years ago, our underground film. We made that for $24,000, and we didn't have anything this poorly conceived in it.
True, we weren't choreographing giant fight scenes either.
True.
Yeah, but if you were, I would like to think that you would do it at location. I mean,
I would never let something that looked this terrible in my movie.
It was poorly made. I think they ran out of money and they slapped whatever they could together. It was poorly made.
I was of all the things in this movie, this is the stuff that really kind of like. I'm just kind of going, why, dude? Why?
Yeah. I wanted, if anything, I wanted better for Bronzy.
Really? I was saying why pretty much 5 minutes into this thing.
No.
I saw what
I'm with Cade. Bronzy deserves better.
I saw what
Didn't.
I saw what a talented filmmaker could do on a low budget with Bronzy and Death Kiss. You failed him here. You failed Bronzy.
Yeah.
Come on, Sly. Put him in Expendables 5.
He's living in fucking Beansfield, Ohio, away from his family in Hungary, raising horses for this shit. I'm guessing even in Beansfield, Ohio, living at the Best Western, he's doing better than he was in Hungary, I'm guessing.
No, he had a nice horse ranch in Hungary. He was doing all right then.
Hey, at least in Beansfield, they got a Applebee's probably.
I've been to Hungary. Hungary's a beautiful country. We love you, Hungary.
I've been to the Mansfield Applebee's. It is not beautiful. So Bronzy and Bunyan flee to the chapel tower, the prison's church, where they find themselves trapped. And the man holding the key is a towering, emotionless prison guard named Seagull. Like either the bird Seagull or Steven Seagal, we'll see, who taunts the men with the keys before setting down his taser wand and karate kicking the shit out of both tough guys.
Oh, first of all, Siegel, they made this guy look like a fucking badass in this scene.
Doctor, I thought for a second it was our old buddy Derek Mears, but then I was like, he wouldn't go anywhere near this. He played he played Jason in Swamp Thing. He's not going anywhere near this.
I can see how you would have thought that from the guy's face, but no. And dude, I'm sorry. He was tall, but I laughed at the karate scene because the dude looked like a potato.
He did. He looked like a potato doing karate kicks.
What's so funny is that it made no sense, but I still loved it. I was still
this was our big moment, our Tango and Cash moment, where Bronzy and Bunyan are now partners.
Bronzy and Bunyan,
and they're like looking at each other like, it's your turn. Ah, shit. And they both get their asses kicked.
Oh my god! Like the second round when Bunyan was like, "No, I'm not doing this."
Even teaming up together, they have a hard time taking out Seagull. Until that is, Bronzy's little CGI pigeon friend swoops into the chapel and distracts the guy
This is a straight up D&D wizard familiar move to where you have your familiar go in on the bad guy and then it gives you advantage on the next attack.
But here's the thing.
Let me get nerd. Let me drop my nerd on you.
Because we have no context in this character, we've never seen him before. When that pigeon swoops down there, he stops and like smiles, like he has some kind of connection with the pigeon.
I think there was a cut scene. That's the only explanation.
Yeah, Kate, you didn't see the director's cut.
I did not see the director's cut.
Deathlock 13 Redux. They go into that guy's relationship with the pigeon.
But here's the deal.
Am I the only one here who loves Bronzy? I mean, not Bronzy, but Bunyan. I love this dude. No. He was written extremely poorly. His lines are crap. The script was crap. But I love this dude.
But other than that.
But I still loved him. I don't know what it was about him. Every time he was on the screen, I loved it. it was elementary. It was just kindergartenish, but I still loved it.
It's funny you say that to elementary and kindergartenish, because it wasn't until he helps Bronzy and they team up that I finally realized that Bunyan is mentally retarded.
I can agree with that. Yeah.
He's stunted. He's not a fully advanced adult. And I didn't get that.
I can agree with that.
I thought he was just a jackass through the first 3/4 of the movie. And now I'm like, oh, he's actually stunted. Like he's not. And yeah, well then I think that's what you're supposed to do. You'll be like,
I'm fine with that.
Oh, you know what? He's like Forrest Gump with triceps.
I'm good with that.
I thought that was evident from the time the guy first opened his mouth, but I mean,
it should have been.
Well, as Seagal is admiring the seagull, or the pigeon, or whatever the hell it is, they seize that opportunity long enough for Bronzy to pin him to the ground and take his taser wand and jam it into his throat, killing him, literally tasering him through the mouth to death.
Stabbed by his own sword, you might say.
Yeah, I might say that.
The new best friends then use the guards' keys to access the prison's arsenal, where they arm themselves to the teeth with machine guns, grenade launchers,
and
another Gatling gun that they just happen to have up there.
Just so many Gatling guns in this prison.
Jesus Christ, how many Gatling guns does Pleasant Hill need?
You never have enough Gatling guns. You never have enough Gatling.
Well, guess what? The TNCC has 0. Work on that, boys.
Exactly. Yaks, you're kind of dropping the ball on this.
Last time I looked around here,
when the zombies come, we're depending.
Last time I looked around here, I saw no Gatling
we're depending
guns.
on you. You got to have the Gatling guns.
We got no Gatling guns here. Meanwhile, in the main prison, the warden and her deputy warden, Bright, are trying like hell to avoid the rioting inmates as they make their way through the building in an attempt to get the hell out of Dodge. But when she and her underling are cornered by some bloodthirsty prisoners, she pushes her loyal assistant to the wolves and even shoots him in the gut to buy herself a little more time. As she
shot me, bitch.
You damn bitch. As she takes out some of the convicts as well. Perhaps you could say Deputy Warden Bright was stabbed by his own sword.
Oh, God.
You got one a minute ago.
Yeah.
That's the third time I used that. It's probably too much. Get this. As Bronzy and Bunyan make their way through the prison, I'm guessing they're still completely unaware there's a full-blown riot going on because they haven't seen any of the other prisoners. They think they're on their own here, just doing their own thing. That crazy doctor, remember that guy with the lab coat and the dark rimmed glasses? He pops up. We thought he was dead. He was foaming at the mouth from that poison. He jumps out of the shadows and attacks Bunyan, only to have the top half of his head blown off by Bronzy.
Oh, God. It was the top half.
That's a good effect too. Like
it was.
Top half of his skull just blows off.
It was like the Terminator. It was like Terminator 2, except with the like flesh and blood.
Yeah. I didn't see that coming. Did you guys?
No.
Outside,
oh my God, are we about to get through this entire movie without a hot pursuit?
Uh-oh.
Of course not.
Are you sure?
Don't you challenge me, Dud. Don't you challenge me.
Man, I don't know. I think I'm kind of like, now, are you going to add hot pursuit just because I mentioned it?
Well, if that's how you felt, you should have mentioned it at the very end and called me on it. But trust me, I know what I'm doing here.
Okay.
Unlike Joe Rogan, I am a trusted podcaster. Outside, the prisoners have breached the outdoor courtyard area, and the wizard is the first one to get shredded to pieces by the guard tower's Gatling gun.
Oh.
The wizard waves his newly acquired taser pole in the air like a wand and cries out for a mystical portal to open, and they just blast him to smithereens.
And again, they use an awesome sound effect with the brrr.
I think it's fair to say the wizard was stabbed by his own. Okay.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
No,
Good.
he wasn't. He wasn't at all.
Okay, but good riddance to the wizard. That guy was an asshole, right? I hated the wizard.
He
a
was
terrible
annoying.
actor.
What did the wizard do to you? He did nothing.
He was a terrible actor.
He
They were
was
all
annoying.
terrible
No.
actors.
So shit goes completely off the rails crazy now. Somehow the prison guards never received any type of firearms training or target practice because they can't manage to shoot anybody despite firing off thousands of rounds at Bronzy and Brunyon. Well, they did hit that old fart, the wizard, pretty easy. They killed that asshole. But meanwhile, Meathead Bunyan is blowing everybody away with his Gatling gun. Dude, he's mowing down guards right and left.
But
luckily,
I have to say it, they changed the sound effect on Bunyan's Gatling gun, and it sucked.
it was kind of weak sauce. I'll give you that.
It was very weak sauce. It wasn't the brr of an A10 Warthog.
And luckily, when Bunyan runs out of Gatling gun bullets, he's like, oh, shit. And everybody's shooting at him, but still can't hit him. Bronzy's ready to step up and take care of business with his grenade launcher. He just starts blasting dudes with grenades right and left. Game over. Remember those secret tunnels that the wizard used to talk about before he looked like a big old puddle of chewed up dog food? Well, Bronzy and Bunyan find those tunnels and start shuffling down them just as 3 CGI helicopters arrive with a small army of SWAT team members in hot pursuit.
Now, did you just add that because I mentioned it, or was it in the script?
You'll never know. But weren't those SWAT?
I'll say I want to believe it was in the script. I want to believe.
I want to believe.
Were
I
not
want
those
to
SWAT
believe.
team members in hot pursuit of Bunyan and Bronzy? I believe they were.
They were. They were.
They are there to restore order at Pleasant Hill, and they do that rather swiftly via superior firepower. Did you hear as the SWAT team approaches the inmates who are riding, that one long-haired inmate charges at them and says, and dude, I had the captions turned on. I heard it, but I wasn't paying attention to the closed captioning. I had to rewind it. And sure enough, there's this long-haired prisoner that charges at the SWAT team and says, "Suck my fucking penis."
I did not.
That's natural. That's natural.
I don't think I've ever heard a guy say that expression in that exact way in this type of situation before, ever. So
That was the first time.
Escape from Cell Block 13 has that going for it. Can you imagine that's your march, your final dying, like, all right, if I'm going to die, I'm going to go out saying what I got to say. Suck my fucking penis.
Can you imagine that's your IMDb credit?
I kind of like that. Suck my fucking penis guy. That's his credit.
Next year, we're at the Texas Frightmare Convention. There's this long-haired dude sitting there drinking a Diet Dr. Pepper. $10. Hey, only $10 for an autograph. What's this guy known
Dude,
for?
you're the suck my fucking penis guy.
Dude, you're the guy that said "suck my fucking penis" to the SWAT team, and I'll give him $10. That was
Don't let anybody frighten me.
that was
The thing
ad,
is, I
that
know
was-
that's true. You would give him $10 for that.
that was ad lib, boys. That was not in the script. I worked on that in my notebook. I just kind of came up with that on my own, and I was glad I made it into the final cut. I don't know why that guy sounds kind of like Trace Atkins. Suck my fucking penis. Okay. Back down in the tunnels, Bunyan is about to run full blast through a bricked off exit way and secure freedom for him and Bronzy. But the warden suddenly pops out of nowhere and shoots the big guy a bunch of times. Right before she's about to deliver the kill shot to him, Bronzy shoots her in the shoulder. She tries to reason with him, but that only makes him pull out his grenade launcher. "You can't do this to a woman," she says. "You may be a woman, but you're no lady," Bronzy purrs as he pulls the trigger, sending a grenade shooting out of the launcher in slow motion. And we follow, this is the one CGI thing I was cool with. We follow the grenade as it follows It goes right through her torso and explodes upon impact with the bricked off tunnel exit behind her. Talk about hitting two birds with one stone. Am I right?
Okay, the shot through her, I'll concede. I like it. The explosion afterwards, this is where Mincy's laziness comes into that I was kind of referring to earlier.
He's not that lazy.
No, not Mincy being lazy, but when he's talking about lazy production, dude, this shit looks lazy. This looks like he grabbed an After Effects stock explosion, just threw it on a wall and called it a day. I have never done an explosion before in my life, and I would put the hipster explosion of me splatting on the camera better than this explosion. Yeah. And I was just like, are you fucking serious? And you get paid to do this?
That's my thing. I spent $3.99 to rent this movie. I don't want to see shit that we could do better.
And I'm not that proud. I'm just, dude, I'm a fucking moron, and I threw something up there that looked better than this.
Yeah, it looked terrible, but it well, first of all, her body did look terrible because it was like a total video game body blow up, and then it explodes these fake CGI bricks up. And get this, speaking of birds, we see that terrible CGI pigeon flying around the main prison again for some stupid reason. The SWAT team confronts the armed inmates, and Bronzy's old cell neighbor Tex emerges from the riot crowd as their leader, telling the cops he's ready to negotiate as soon as the major media outlets and the governor arrive. Media and the governor sounds like Tex is going to kill two birds with one stone. Am I right, Ed Boy?
You are correct. Indeed.
Okay, and get this. Speaking of birds again, we cut to the end of the wizard's tunnel where Bronzy and Bunyan find themselves looking up at beautiful green trees and chirping birds. They're free. Bunyan likes trees, Bunyan says.
Bunyan likes trees.
Bunyan suggests that if they split up, it'll be harder for them to be caught, and Bronzy thinks that's a winning idea. The big guy hugs Bronzy. Hey, Nell, I thought you only liked trees. He actually does say that, but in his Hungarian accent. He's not
as poignant as Shawshank Redemption ever was.
Big surprise, Bronzy is not a hugger. And then Bunyan runs off through a dense cornfield. Aha! Woohoo! Freedom, baby! An inspired and poetic Bunyan screams as he disappears into the corn from both our lives, hopefully, and Bronzy's life forever.
Bunyan, I'm going to tip my hat to you, son. I love
Bunyan. Bunyan, we hardly knew ye. Thank God.
Why do I get the feeling like he literally ran out of the cornfield and he basically turned around and the prison was right there and he ran right back into the prison?
Mincy looks like he's having a migraine, but
oh no, sorry, something. It
was a tear in your eye because of Bunyan.
Did get something in my eye, and I'm not as a joke. I literally.
It's rodeo stuff in your eye.
Yeah, continue.
So what's next up for Fugitive Bronzy? You're all asking. I heard you guys asking. I think
I was asking.
Thank you, Yekwa. I thought it was you. Well, we join Bronzy in a cemetery where he is visiting his brother's grave. He's staying low-key now by wearing a baseball cap, as if that completely unique mustache that no one else ever wears isn't a complete giveaway. Maybe shave the mustache, Ron? No dice. Well, anywho, he's trying to pay his respects, but suddenly a couple cop cars swoop in with their noise and their cherries going full blast. And guess who's also there? That's right. Detective Borelli, the African-American 30-something chick named Borelli, and Agent Langley, Boom Boom Washington from Welcome Back, Kotter. She tells Bronzy he can put his hands down. The governor has issued Bronzy a full pardon for all his crimes in exchange for his help in bringing down the drug smuggling operation at Pleasant Hill, which we still don't know what that was about or what was going on. Yes. Bronzy.
So the prison riot, the fact that these men were abused, but you know what? We got our drugs. Everything's good. Lock those guys back up in the same prison with the
Well, they
probably
were there
same
for a
guards.
reason. They were there for a reason, yes.
Oh, and again,
I'm assuming so.
it gets better, Yax. Detective Borelli also hands Bronzy a new cell phone. And once he puts his fingerprint on it, it opens up to show that he has a cryptocurrency account installed on it with a balance of $100,027,500 sitting in it. And then
Oddly
And
specific.
if you join the Drew Estate Live, you can also get Bitcoin cryptocurrency delivered to your phone.
you can. And that is 100 times what he was owed, or 10 times what he was owed by Mr. Renda. He was owed 12,000, but the feds just gave him 127,500, which is probably worth the 12,000 that he was originally owed in real money. I don't know how any of this stuff works. Anywho, and then we spend the next minute in what can only be described as a bizarre infomercial for cryptocurrency, where the two smiling law enforcement officers explain to a very confused Bronzy and a very confused me and you guys, the audience, how this new form of currency works. What? What now?
That's the right response.
It's like money, but not money. She's like, well, it's like money. You can do stuff with it, but it's not like money. Maybe. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what the fuck this moment was about. And neither does Bronzy. It was a completely out of nowhere commercial for cryptocurrency that was not very well executed. I'm guessing they got paid to do this.
Most likely. I mean, but I was wondering, what is it? It's cryptocurrency. No.
What?
Bait.
It's like money.
I can buy goat horses and feed with this. Well, no, you can't buy anything with it, but it's real money. Just go with it, Bronzy. Okay. And then Agent Langley, chomping on a cigar, sweetens the pot by offering Bronzy a job coming to work with him. Because, you know, Bronzy's a natural fit to go in undercover in almost any situation. This guy that looks just like Charles Bronson and speaks horrible English. I can really use you, Bronzy. I can really use you.
Yes, you can.
Bronzy says he'll think about it. He gives them the trademark Charles Bronson wink and a gunpoint salute and walks off. And that's that. But it's not that. Wait, there's more. We then drop in on Bronzy, now dressed in all black with a black leather coat, carrying a souvenir ball peen hammer, as he revisits Renda Rubber Products to get his revenge on the man who killed his brother. He said he would do this. You don't kill Bronzy's brother and get away with it. As Mr. Renda begs for his life, Bronzy smiles and says, I'm going to try to do this one actually in his Hungarian accent, so bear with me. I'll do the best I can. My brother was the good son. I'm the bad son. What you Americans call the black sheep of the family. And then he tosses Nicholas Turturro into an industrial grinder that chops him up into little pieces.
Don't do that. Yeah.
Yeah, don't.
That's why I didn't do it the whole movie. It's terrible.
I know.
You should have stuck with the pattern.
The end. Bronzy gets his justice. He gets his revenge. The end.
You sounded like if it was Arnold on a cassette tape that got stuck in an old cassette player and was starting to go real slow.
I'm sorry. Bronzy sounded like
you need feedback. We're all here to get better.
Bronzy sounded to me like Drago in Rocky IV.
Thank you.
No, once again, I think my analogy of on a cassette tape that got stuck in the player and was like,
Well, I've also had like 8 beers, so take that into account. I'm going to stand by. I'm going to stand by my philosophy that if you cast Bronzy in your film, you need to dub. You need to dub. Have an expert dub a Bronson voice over him. That's where you get your full money's worth.
Agreed, wholeheartedly.
Tut, I know you said it didn't bother you him speaking in his thing, but I want the full Bronzy experience, which is let him be the show. Let someone else do the voice. We're giving this gift of 20 more years of Charles Bronson. Let's get the full thing out of it.
Or at least 6 years of Charles Bronson. And, you know, I'm not going to argue against it. I think that it would have been a better movie with the voice. So, yeah, I'll go ahead and say
everybody, if you're going to use Bronzy, just call us and we'll do the voice. I mean,
please.
We work for cigars and booze. We're pretty fucking cheap. Just give us a call.
The fucking director of Death Kiss said that he would love us.
He said we were phenomenal, and he made a really phenomenal, the quintessential Bronzy film at this point. So, but we haven't yet to see The Gardener in about a month's time. So
that is true.
There is a chance, folks, that we will be doing another Bronzy. I can't help ourselves. We'll probably do The Gardener.
I'm not kidding. He is my Danny Trejo. I will watch any movie that he's in. I will rent it. I will pay money. We'll do it.
I feel like we've been given this gift of Bronzy, and we should cherish it and celebrate it. And I just want it to be the best gift that it can be. So I think this was a really fun movie to follow up the March to Halloween Horror Madness. You mentioned at one point, Tut, this was exactly what the doctor ordered for you and everything you got going on in your world. I hope you other two boys had fun with it.
Absolutely.
And if whatever fun you didn't have with it, I hope we created some fun out of it. That's what we do. So I'm going to stick with it. I think this might be one of those shows where our show is way more entertaining to listen to than the movie itself is to watch. So I think this was a good call, and I had a lot of fun. Tut, give us some links.
All right. So if you're on Instagram, hit us up at TNCC_podcast. I put a shout out to Stallone. I'm like, you need to put Bronzy in the next Expendables. If you follow us on Instagram, maybe you will see whether he answers us or not. You can also join us on Twitter at TNCCcast. Join us on Facebook, Tuesday Night Cigar Club. Please subscribe to us on YouTube, Tuesday Night Cigar Club, because trust me, there is nothing like watching this podcast on YouTube. I mean, the podcast is great. You're on audio only, and it's funny as hell. But when you see our expressions on YouTube, it makes it that much better. So please join us there. Also, hey, if you're going to do a little shopping for Christmas, hit us up on TuesdayNightCigarClub.com. Click on the Amazon banner. Do your shopping from there. If you want to buy any of the cigars that you hear on the podcast, hit us up on TuesdayNightCigarClub.com. And then click on the Famous Smoke Shop banner there. It will automatically, you don't even have to do anything. It will automatically put in the promo code TNCC20 for you there. You spend $100, it drops you $20 off on that. It's like 20% off. Trust me, I got A's in calculus, at least in most of it, and it's 20% off there. You can't go wrong with it.
Would you listen to Yellowstone, or would you prefer to watch Yellowstone?
Great point. I'm watching Yellowstone.
Would you listen to Monarch, or would you watch Monarch, featuring country western music superstar Trace Atkins?
Well, I don't know. We'll have to find out.
I think you should watch. Tut's got the cowboy hat on. You got a whole lot. You got 4 squares on your screen of a whole lot of handsomeness. Watch us on YouTube. I can't stress that enough. The more we evolve, the more that I'm a firm believer that YouTube is the way to. Hey, 1.5 million YouTube viewers can't be wrong.
That is true.
They like what they see. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. I will leave you with this. May the wings of liberty never lose a feather. We will see you in 2 weeks. We're getting close, boys. Next week, next show is 150.
I feel really good about this.
I'm wearing my tuxedo t-shirt for that one. So I got to pick out something good, something crazy, something good. We will do it. Thank you very much. And we will see you then. Sayonara, motherfuckers. Be good. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Man, this bronzy guy sure seems to know what he's doing. Maybe I'll grow a mustache and change my name to Keith Selleck. I've already got the short shorts, and I've been contemplating making the transition to a Hawaiian private detective for a few years now anyhow. Yeah, this seems like a plan with nothing but promise. Unless I end up looking like an 80s gay porno star instead, which I almost certainly will. Again. And thus begins yet another exciting new chapter in the life of Dong Selleck. Shit. Well, anywho, to learn more about the cigars enjoyed on tonight's episode, please visit room101cigars.com. For more on O'Brien's Irish Pub, the live music leader in Central Texas, please visit o'brienstemple.com and download their free smartphone app, where you'll find full beer listings including over 40 on tap, menu information, and a calendar of upcoming live events. To listen and purchase music heard on tonight's program, check out www.fritzbeermusic.com. Thank you for listening to the Tuesday Night Cigar Club podcast. This is Keith A. Howell saying until next time, friends, unless we see you sooner at the pub. So keep it smoky, and for God's sake, keep it ballsy as well.